Okay, we are finally live. I had a lot of technical problems. I downloaded way too much stuff from this inconsequential drop of Epstein files. It was only 3 million pages that were released onto justice.gov. And so I downloaded it and just mangled my whole desktop. I couldn't download stuff. So I had to clean that up to get stuff going. But also at the same time, Hans had a flat tire. So we are running 45 minutes late. So I apologize to everybody for talking about these. I'm going to call them the Einstein files with pedophilia because there's a lot of stuff in here. This is probably it's an incredible drop. I think even the researchers have only scratched the surface, and they're trying to like intertwine all the webs and stuff like that of what's going on. But for people who kind of forgot maybe the whole timeline, Epstein was arrested back in 2019. So I think it was the 9th, or is it Teterboro Airport, which seemed to be a place where he would come into New Jersey. He's from New Jersey, I think, somewhere around there, or the boroughs. But I know he worked around there, but he would come into Teterboro. That's where he was arrested. Then there was a so-called attempted suicide. That's what the public was told. That happened on 7/23, and we're going to go into that. I've got some slides for that. And then he was found dead on August 10th, 2019. And there's a lot of files that haven't been seen by the public, his death files. There's a lot of speculation that he got away. And I totally disagree with all those statements. I think they put him in jail to kill him, much like Jean-Luc Brunel. Like, it's a perfect place, really. Contained environment, much like hotel rooms, by the way. You find people suspiciously die in hotel rooms. That's another optimal place because there's not that many eyes, really. And some people may be intimidated or told to look away or things like that. So, but I've really been on a kind of research jag for the last 4 days or 5 days looking into these files. Once I realized the impact and import, I put out something actually on my X thing that had 1.6 million views. And it was really something that I just thought was interesting. I didn't think it's because I'm not really part of the binary left-right paradigm. But the people on the left, like, got at least followers that are from the blue things watching. It was about Bannon and who I believe to be Epstein having a conversation, and Bannon they're calling Trump really bad names, and it's something about his new secretary and some inside kind of tea, I guess is what they call it today, or inside gossip about that. But it's one from an iMessage. They never thought that it would ever be made public, much like a lot of this other stuff. But there's a lot in here. And, I was talking with Sean in the pre-show, like, you could do 10 hours of this, but we're going to go through some of the stuff today and some of the stuff that I've accrued that I think is interesting. And a lot of stuff is in that. I mean, somebody's going to have to go back through and categorize and catalog all the stuff. A lot of this stuff hasn't been disclosed. So this is only 3 million. I think there were 500,000 before. So there's 3.5 million files. And the guy, Blanche or whatever, is like, we got 6 million and we didn't disclose any torture, CSAM, other things, of videos. So there's some videos in here in the files, but not all videos. But like, there is porn in this. Like, I've looked, I mean, it's all, redacted and stuff like that. But there's some stuff and a lot of pictures with kids and like real, like, prepubescent kids, like really dark, like, yeah, really dark stuff. Like, he's a monster, like Epstein, and these people are demonic. But we can talk more about that. So, Sean and Hans, welcome to the show.
Hi, glad to be here.
Yeah. You must feel vindicated. Eyes wide shut, man. That's what people are talking about.
Yeah, people are like all over the Twitter. They're talking about Eyes Wide Shut, and they're like, "Ooh, I've never seen Eyes Wide Shut. Is it really what they say?" They're finally starting to get it, and it's like Eyes Wide Shut is just the vehicle for me to express the idea that this world is run by dark occultists who have a philosophy of death. And they enslave the world with mind control and trauma. So that's really, Eyes Wide Shut is a great way of teaching those ideas to people, and that's why I love that so much. To deep dive into that because Kubrick gets it. I mean, um, but yeah, this really anybody that doesn't believe what Mark Passio has been saying for the past 20 years, like if anybody has any doubt that this uh, it's a kakistocracy, it's a rule by the worst. It's I mean, we are enslaved, but I mean, Sam Tripoli shared on Twitter. He said the people who are in the Epstein files want you to have a social credit score. The people that rape children want you to have a social credit score, and just put that in you. Like I've been waiting for a moment like this to for people to really cognize what the truth is, like what Dave McGowan was saying in the 20 years ago. Like people read his book and they study and they think they know, and then when they get these Epstein documents, they're just like, oh, my goodness. I talk to people who have been abused in similar, if and worse ways than the people uh, in question here, the Epstein victims. And we talk about how the leaders of government and the people in Hollywood and you would name names practically. So it's I've been talking about this for a long time. So I'm glad that we finally have there's a crack in the wall and the light is shining through and people are like, what is that? So I'm delighted to be here today with you and Hans. Thank you, William.
Oh yeah, no, it's great to be here, and you know, a lot of this stuff really started coming up in the 1980s, and what's interesting to see, even with a recent show about the the FBI profilers, right, and then all these shows about the Satanic Panic, but I mean, you've got lots and lots of stuff that came out, even starting in the 70s. And so, we go to the finders, et cetera, et cetera. And I've actually got the full, from actually Ted Gunderson had all the original files. So whether, or not his veracity or et cetera, these are actual documents. So it's something I looked into quite a while ago, but then McMartin, and then you've got, of course, the whole thing with, Hunter S. Thompson being involved. You have the Franklin cover up and all these things where the guy, the private investigator suddenly plane crash, right? He died.
Caradori, yeah,
Um,
Caradori.
so this stuff has been going on. Epstein is, you could say, is one node in a network. He happens to be one of the most prominent. Luckily, so many connections are sourced. But then you have, like, say, right here in Ohio, right? You've got the Wexner organized crime family, because I knew people that worked for him at private parties, right? I even knew about one guy. He said he killed this. I used to do catering, like when I was coming out of college, and so they you get the hi-fi event. Like one dude, he spilled wine on Epstein's. I'm not Epstein. I mean Wexner's wife. Not Einstein's wife, but his wife spilled wine, and then the dude is like, supposedly he was involved with, I'll say Waxer. I won't use the actual name, but so
Right.
the unlimited store,
Right.
not the, but this dude died mysteriously.
Right.
And then there's a guy, Bob Fortakis, local journalist, was talking about other deaths, right? People.
Shapiro in Ohio. There was a Shapiro guy too. Their lawyer in
Yep.
Ohio died. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and Fortakis was looking in this stuff back many, many years ago. Unfortunately, he got jabbed, and he's not doing so well at this current time. But I'm saying, so this stuff has been out there, but then as we get into it, I mean, this stuff we've been talking about forever, like here it is in your face, and you can't. The Pizzagate thing, right? How many people said these are just? Yes, it went. There was some BS with that, and I will say, before we dive in with the Pizzagate stuff, you're looking into it. There's a point where they start encoding that information into you. You start almost participating in it, right? But the Pizzagate that got shut down. Here we are, right? So now nobody can state that this stuff is not 100% on on the money, and again, interlocking networks of it, and this is our rulers, these are our betters, these are our kings, our brahmins, our technocratic priests, and whatever, and we're supposed to look up to these people, and so here we are. And do you want to be in a world ruled by these guys? I don't.
Not at all. And if you read through these files, you'll see Epstein manipulating people, talking about politics, talking about undercutting politicians, putting politicians into place. But to go back to Sean's theme, there's this. I would suggest listeners, if you're listening to this, if it's recorded or live, get a pen and a piece of paper and write down these call numbers that reference things at justice.gov Epstein so you can see them for yourself. Because I'm going to repeat them right now. This one is EFTA 017-45372, EFTA 017-45372. You can just type it in there if it's functioning. It's been kind of janky recently, but this one is from 2016, fairly recent. Guy says, hi, how are you? If you're here, I'd be happy to see you. Who's this? Austrian, UPenn grad, lawyer. We met years ago in Paris through blank. Do you remember me? Epstein, yes. How are you? Why NYC? I'm good, here for the weekend, leaving Monday night. Let me know if you have time to meet tomorrow. Epstein, I would have loved to, but I'm not in New York. Are you having fun? Response, I haven't had for a while, but I am now. It's seriously incredible. I'm completely addicted. I'm trying to find high-end Eyes Wide Shut parties. Do you know any? It's right there. Crazy stuff, guys.
Yeah. There. Yeah.
I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, and some of these will be pictures that we've never seen that haven't been publicized. This is the field office investigation of the guy who's supposedly dead. Here's his arrest. Sorry, it was July 6th. I had it wrong. July 6th is when he got arrested. He was at the MCC, right? Just where Ghislaine Maxwell was. And then he got placed in with Nicholas Tartaglione, a guy who was a former cop who lured somebody. He had like a dispute over drugs north of downtown Manhattan, about an hour. And he lured somebody in and he zip tied him and strangled him to death. And then the guy's three friends came into the bar, and Tartaglione alleged, I think he was convicted actually in 2024, but he's convicted of killing all three of them. He shot them all in the head. So for some, I mean, this is what indicates to me, this is obviously my opinion, but that he was supposed to go down. Like, we don't put him with a freaking guy who's like doing capital crimes and stuff like that, especially if you're a convicted, alleged, or I think he was convicted of some like underage sex, but well, we're going to the files actually where Tartaglione literally calls Epstein a pedophile. It never came out,
Right.
but I have those things. But he's placed in the cell. First, it's suicide attempt, July 23rd. Then cellmate released, or Tartaglione gets. Oh yeah, he's on a suicide watch, which means he's watched like every half an hour, and then he's pronounced dead on the 10th of August.
That Tartaglione is obviously a dirty cop, and he was sent to murder that first guy like on purpose. There are cops that do hits while they're working. There's gangs in the cops. They get tattoos numbered. The LA Sheriff's Department is rife with them. That's like, famous for that, but they're everywhere, so of course they sent their guy in there like, oh, our killer got sent to jail. Oh, well, I guess we'll have him keep killing while he's in jail, like,
When
anyway.
you read what happened on July 23rd, I would find it very hard to believe that there was a real legitimate suicide attempt by Epstein, because I'll read it to you. I mean, we'll get to there. I've got Tartaglione stuff, but this is interesting. Where like clinical contact on the 26th, Epstein denied suicidal ideation, intention, or plan, and referred to himself as a coward. And I'm Jewish.
Wow.
Said he was not someone who liked pain and would ever attempt to harm himself.
Well, also he got off from other charges, so he had probably had no reason to think he would somehow skate with this, time served or something or other. But obviously, I mean, he became not only he was a liability, but also he's a great way just to cap. Oh, it's just Epstein, right? You create closure. Not that these are networks that are pre-existing, that are still existing, right? That this is one of the infrastructures of the entire, you know, world governance system. Actually, you know, it's easy just to kind of make him the fall guy.
Perfectly said, dude. Yeah. And William, what you said earlier about how he was a sex offender, like he had to register as a sex offender. Acosta made him do that, even though Acosta gave him the deal where he gets to walk out of jail on the weekends or whatever. But the when you're in jail, they don't mix the Skinners with the regular population. They call them Skinners, where in the jail where I was at in Massachusetts. But the people that are in there for touching kids are segregated. They put them in a
For
segregated
their own
block.
safety, right?
Yeah,
Because the other
exactly.
inmates are going to beat the crap out of them.
Exactly. So they would not put him in the same cell with, like, unless it was another pedophile. Like, they have a whole pedo block, where the you know the coward Jew freaking PDF files, they all congregate over there. But his original charge from '07 was, what Acosta gave him was soliciting sex from a minor. And I've always had a really big problem with that because minors legally cannot consent. So there is no way to
That's why it's
solicit sex.
statutory rape. It's called statutory rape for a reason.
Right, right. And so how does a minor exchange sex for money if they can't consent? So, like, it is like it's an oxymoron, it's like a jumbo shrimp or something, like, so it makes no sense. And for the government to say, "Yeah, that's a charge. Yeah, well, okay, go with that," and then, like, let him out of jail, it's unbelievable. Like, I mean, it is really believable, actually, if you think about it in the framing of they're Satanists and all that shit.
Look at this from 723. Arriving officer told Epstein had attempted suicide. He was told that. So the implant in the brain right away is, hey, he committed suicide. He was trying to commit suicide with Tartaglione in there. Officer observed Epstein lying on the fetal position on the floor in the cell, snoring. His neck was red with no abrasions. He was placed on the stretcher and appeared to open eyes to watch staff, then quickly shut them, placed on suicide watch. Epstein told officer that Tartaglione's cellmate had tried to kill him and had been harassing him. Tartaglione claimed he had been asleep and woke up to see Epstein with a string around his neck. This is ridiculous. Like, so they put him on a suicide watch. Psych conducted the next day, denied suicidality, stated, I have no interest in killing myself, and that it would be crazy to take his life, although he was depressed and unhappy about his current legal situation. And then they put him on psych eval. Like, this is like the treatment that you get in prison if somebody wants to cause you harm. Like, this is all you have to see. Like, they went through an assessment of what happened to Epstein at the MCC, and they're like, well, now in retrospect, it probably wasn't a great idea to put Tartaglione in there. And when Tartaglione was out of jail, he was on roids, dude. His freaking like back was just all like you could just see that he was just out of his freaking mind on roids.
And then when you go to jail, you have to quit the roids all of a sudden. So it, like, messes with your whole system, gets messed up because you're supposed to go gradually off of them. And so that might have done something to his psyche.
And also, he's just there as a hitman,
Right, yeah.
And the thing again, Epstein, like, if you look at him, he was trying to breed a master race. He's not somebody that had low self-esteem, right? I mean, he thought of himself as like a man god. You know what I mean? So, in all likelihood, it was basically just a hit. It was set up.
He might have been drugged. He acts like somebody who's drugged. I'll show the video. I'll show the pictures of Epstein. Like, he's not in a sentient state. Like, he might have been pre-drugged. Like, Tartaglione bungled it. Like, that's what I'm thinking, is that he bungled the freaking suicide hit.
It's funny that we think that these evil rulers are so, like, the Illuminati can do anything, but they can't even get a murder done, right? Like, I mean, this one guy that, like, had to be murdered for
Right.
all these other people to keep
To
living
get
the way
away.
they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and for to bungle that and be like, oh, it was a suicide. He was sleeping. It's so funny to see him try to juggle all this messed up
They
crap.
have
But
unlimited funds. So, like,
that's true.
what's your
Yeah.
number? Like, who cares? Like a million? Well, who cares? It might be a lot to Tartaglione, but to some of these guys, it's chump
Oh,
change.
yeah. And I mean, I'm sure like there's lots of you know, sons of like widows' sons in the police, and they're like the operators of the higher orders, you know what I mean? So like
You got
he
to
might
hear
not have even been paid that much. It might have
yeah,
just been like his duty because that's your role in the
in the mob
hierarchy.
is to kill
Yeah,
people. Yeah,
exactly. Right.
you're a
Yeah.
hitman.
Yeah.
You're part of Murder Inc. Do it.
Right.
This is crazy. Like they tried to pin this on Epstein. He's saying, I'm not suicidal. They wanted him to sign a form saying you have pseudo-suicidal tendencies. So the narrative was being placed into the thing. So all these people who are on the internet saying he got away and he's living a happy life, you're idiots. They're trying to, if you read these documents, they're really trying to pin this on him. Suicide risk assessment, August 1st, 20. These aren't my documents. These are their Department of Justice stuff. Staff reported that when Epstein came back from court, the USM asked him to sign a form that noted he had suicidal tendencies. He was seen for a suicide risk assessment. Epstein seemed surprised that there was a form noting suicidal tendencies. He denied stating he was suicidal. He denied any suicidal tendencies, and suicide watch was not indicated. His lawyer said the same thing. We were working to get him out.
Well, yeah, and just to people keep in mind, like, so Robert Maxwell, right? Super high level, major player in everything, industry publishing, espionage, multiple, double, triple, quadruple agent. He got knocked off because he got too big for his britches, so he didn't get relocated. I mean, it's and he was one of the top. I mean, he was a major player, right? And in a certain way, maybe much bigger than Epstein in some ways.
Yes.
But they'll take you. It's like they'll take you out or cover up, so it's not. You're in this mob. I mean,
Right.
maybe there's some people that are, depending on where you're in the pyramidal structure. But I mean, said Robert Maxwell, he got knocked off. There's no question about that. Easy, they'll just take out Epstein. There's not.
Why would they have any loyalty to this guy? Why would they like bother to give him a cush life and like some other place, like hide him somewhere for the rest? Come on, what? They're a bunch of psychopaths. You know what I mean? They don't care about others. Like they're not gonna be like, oh, let's set him up because he's always been good to us. So like, come on, that's not how they think, right?
There was so much money. Just Bill Gates is one example. Like he lost half of his wealth because of Epstein. That's what his wife's saying. And then it came out in these things that he was trying to drug his wife with penicillin because he picked up an STD from some Russian hookers or something. Yeah. And also, it's interesting you bring up Robert Maxwell because in these files, I don't have them at beck and call, but there is validity of the whole story of Maxwell getting off by his own people because there was email saying that he was threatening them and he wanted, and this is like validated, I think it's Dylan is the writer who wrote Maxwell Super Spy, but he was doing what they said. There was more validation of all these external stories where he was threatening them. He wanted money to save his ass from him looting stuff in the UK. And I think that one of the decisions was like, you're off, baby, you're gone. So here's Epstein. They're certifying, they're going through these people, all this stuff. There's some activation. So he hung himself. Epstein supposedly hung himself at 5:30 a.m. Lieutenant notified control center to call emergency services. During the situation, officers who stated, we did not complete the 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. rounds. Like this is their job. Like they're saying this earlier that they're walking around monitoring. Officer 3 appeared distraught and said, we messed up. I messed up. She's not to blame. We didn't do any rounds. So they blew it there now.
They were scrolling their phones, apparently, right? That's what they say.
Indictment of officers. This is the cameras and stuff. Like when you see these like videos of cameras, it's shooting. I don't know if people can see this diagram, but it's not shooting even towards Epstein's cell. So like people are watching this camera for action. It's not the right camera, but they show actually the layouts of all the stuff.
And one thing, just about Epstein too, though, he was so Robert Maxwell actually did some things. Epstein was set up, made man from the beginning. Every step he took in his life, it makes no sense. His job teaching, when he's harassing the girls, doesn't he? I mean, at one of the most
the
prestigious
Dalton
schools,
school.
doesn't even graduate,
Right.
and then he gets a job, and then suddenly he becomes a millionaire overnight. So none of it makes sense.
Good friends with David Rockefeller. Yeah.
He claimed Rothschild connections in these files, like $160 billion fund, and was shelling out money like crazy. But this is him. And Sean noticed something interesting about this picture on the right here. This is him not doing well, but that is not a normal thing around your neck that would be from a sheet. That is somebody had a wire or something and pulled it really, really tight, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's no way that kind of abrasion from just by like hanging, like and the bone in his neck, like that, how would that break if he's just hanging like the people do with autoerotic asphyxiation? They do that for fun, they don't break their neck bone when they just hang, so it's like
That didn't do it. You're right.
Yeah, this didn't do it. This
No
is
way.
supposedly
No
the
way.
weapon. Give me a break.
No.
Assuming these pictures are authentic, which they come from their thing.
That's a rope or a garrote or something or other,
A garrote, yeah, right,
Garrote,
exactly.
garrote,
Yeah, right.
And this isn't from like Baden either. Baden, he went on TV and said, "Oh yeah, he had his hyoid bone broken." It's somebody by the name of Dr. Kristen Roman. So this is somebody associated with the MCC or something did this, or somebody associated with New York. But he didn't just have a hyoid bone broken. He had cartilage in his thyroid area was severely damaged. So it just doesn't look. This is not a suicide. But let's get to it's not funny like the Tartagliola stuff,
but I mean, I'll bet you they put extra force into that neck thing this time because they couldn't want to have to do it a third time. You know what I mean? They wanted to make sure he really went. So I'm sure there was a garrote, like you're saying, like they were twisting it, and yeah, it took a lot of force for that.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So here is the first suicide attempt, and the record of it is pretty good. So this is him. Look at him. He's in a place of peace. This isn't a guy sentient. So it makes it. He doesn't remember this first attempt, which makes me think they drugged him or something. And that's why they probably couldn't tell if he was dead or not. He was just in a deep state. Like if he would have woken up, like I think he would have popped up and done something. But this is like he's like half asleep at this. You can see it's 1:27 a.m. on July 23rd, 2019. Special housing unit. He's put into a special housing unit. I wish I could twist this thing around. Okay. Cat wants to get out of here. They took his he had some problems. He had like knee scrapes and stuff like that. And there's Tartaglione. This is him right here. His back. He's not roided up. But he's 50. I think you can tell that when you have these huge, like, what is those, lats or whatever, when they're grown like that, it's not natural. He's either lifting weights or doing roids. And there they are together. But like, you got to read this report. It's really something else. Making routine rounds, lying on the fetal position on the floor with a homemade fashion noose around his neck. Inmate Epstein was breathing heavily, however, appeared to be responsive. He was directed by staff to stand and submit to restraints. He would not stand on his own and would not comply with staff directives. So he's not, in my view, he's not in his right mind. Like, he's not fully cognizant. Staff entered the cell, placed inmate on both hand and leg restraints. He was searched, metal detected, put on a gurney, and escorted from the scene without further incident. He was photographed, medically examined, determined to have sustained a circular line of erythema, which is like a contusion. There were no staff injuries reported. And there he is with Nicholas Tartaglione, who got in there like a year and a half earlier. So how does he get put in there? But let's see
And
this.
just notice whether or not it's relevant, but the numerology. So Jeffrey Epstein is 66 years old, and then the guy that's dragging him is 51. So you got 666, right? And that's also a good year for the human, for his atonement or whatever, his sacrificial offering.
Right. July 31st, 2019, was interviewed and receiving. Interview stated Epstein did not have any sleep in approximately 20 days, and he was extremely tired the night he was found on the floor. Epstein stated he got up off his bed at 1:30 to get a drink of water. All he can recall is being on the floor and hearing someone snoring. That's when he realized the snoring was coming from him. So Epstein alleged that his cellmate Tartaglione was on the floor sleeping at the time. Epstein stated he has never had any issues with Tartaglione. He was not threatened by him. He did not want to make up something that isn't there. Additionally, Epstein stated he could recall an incident that occurred 2 days prior when Tartaglione went out to court and when he returned, he was upset. Epstein stated he attempted to talk to Tartaglione, and Tartaglione called him a pedophile. Epstein also stated he knew Tartaglione was upset and let him cool off. Epstein stated he does not have any issues with Tartaglione. He feels safe being housed with him. Epstein stated he does not feel suicidal. He has a new cellmate who he gets along with, and he's able to sleep now that he has a CPAP machine. If he remembered any more details, he would reach out to staff or psychology. He didn't remember it. And then Tartaglione's statement is, he was interviewed in the special housing unit. During the interview, Tartaglione stated he was asleep on the floor inside of a cell. His head was covered with a sheet. He had his headphones in his ear when he felt something hit his foot. Tartaglione stated when he uncovered his head, he observed Epstein sitting on the floor in the corner with his eyes open. Tartaglione stated he began to call Epstein's name. When Epstein did not answer, he began to bang on the door for the officer. Tartaglione stated that he thought Epstein was having a heart attack because his eyes were open and he appeared to be snoring. Tartaglione stated he does not have any issues being housed with Epstein, although he does keep his conversation to a minimum. Tartaglione stated he does not understand Epstein's motive and what he is trying to do. He stated previously during one of their conversations, Epstein made him uncomfortable when Epstein stated, quote, 14 is legal in most states, and I don't understand what's the problem here, unquote. Additionally, Tartaglione stated Epstein normally paces the cell and complains about his attorneys not doing their job and needs to fire them. Tartaglione stated he does not have any issues being housed with Epstein. However, he does not want to be involved with any plots Epstein may have in mind in order to try to get released. So he's plotting to get released. That doesn't sound like somebody wants to commit suicide. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that you can convince me that that dude wanted to kill himself. Like,
Yeah, no.
oh, I better not tell on my rich friends. Oh, I guess I'll go to the grave. Like, does not make sense.
And it's quite possible that he also just, he maybe tried to call in some favors or threaten people too, like get me out of this, guys, or I'm going to reveal this, So he may have just stepped on the wrong toes. This looks so fake, man. What is all that brown stuff on the ground, on the floor?
Oh,
It's like he took his mattress off and put it on the floor. This is a video that's in the files, guys. The number is, I have it somewhere.
I mean, that
EFTA.
000288842. Right.
That looks so
EFTA.
fake. I mean, that looks absolutely fake.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. He was supposedly housed with somebody else. There's evidence that he was housed with somebody else, which I have somewhere.
If that was real and he was just kneeling and leaning forward, there's no way it would cause that line on his neck.
No way.
Or
And
breaking
the shadows, the
thyroid.
lighting seems off, and maybe it's because low quality, but still, it's definitely.
Yeah, if you go back, this is a huge tell. This
If they can make the Queen of England jump around on the table, I'm sure they can make it look like Epstein killed himself in a video.
that contusion or whatever around his neck,
Yeah, dude.
It's a final job. This was taken outside of the hospital, supposedly. Photographs by D. Mebane, Mebane, CMC. This public hasn't seen these until Friday, so
Yeah, the meme used to be Epstein didn't unalive himself being on YouTube, but and now they're saying he's not even unalived. Like, why is it changing like that? This is like Q-tard
yeah.
type of logic,
Well, there's a lot of people say Charlie Kirk never died.
Ugh,
I think it's deliberate disinformation, and they're just muddying the waters. And
right.
There's paid people showing up too fast, especially even on my posts on X. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, whoa, where'd you come from?
Yeah, bots.
Yeah,
Probably bots.
yeah.
Right. When you get that much traffic of, like, he said he had 1 million views or whatever on the tweet, I'm sure there's going to be some bots in there that are going to try to regulate, Is that the blue tea?
It is, man.
Awesome.
Blue tea. It is. It's pretty. It's good for you, man. I know it's kind of. I do. It does. It's a little trippy. I would have to say.
Oh,
Slightly.
nice. That's my favorite kind of taste. That I like
Yeah,
when it tastes trippy
yeah.
like that.
I'm loving it, man. I'm just a total fan of blue tea, man.
That's great.
What should we do next? You guys want to talk about creating a whole new phenotype Jeffrey Epstein was up to?
Yeah, let's talk about the breeding program.
Let's do the breeding program. Let's do.
And one thing I would be interested in is his island, right? There's all those structures. Is there any detailed stuff on that island? There was something like that weird little temple and all that stuff. But let's start with the breeding program. Yeah, but
Wasn't that like a Phoenician style? I think that like style, the blue and white, that had there was a thing. I got to look it up again, but that was like a style of a certain kind of temple, and I think it was Phoenician, like before pre-Canaanite shit. I don't know. I might be wrong.
There was supposedly in the last 24 hours, somebody found that there were tunnels underneath there. So they were doing digging on the island. I have to go back. It's on X. I can probably find it, but there was some kind of excavation going on at one point there. So it's pretty crazy. I'm uploading. The guy's name is Trivers, and he was friends with Epstein. And it's one of the kind of, you can actually look through the justice.gov stuff. His last name is Trivers. And he was very close to Epstein, and he was a known evolutionary biologist. We'll see his CV here. But one of these things that's going on is this Epstein, as part of this kind of transgender, transhuman thing that some of these Jewish rich guys who are into the Zohar and the Talmud are supporting. They are literally paying for. And Trivers was one of these guys that was kind of in, you could have to say he was in Epstein's stable based on these documents, that he was somebody who, and he has a lot of these guys are academia. They have less questionable kind of backgrounds. This Trivers guy got in trouble in a couple of establishments. This is Trivers right here. This is a recent document that came out, or Rutgers University professor, evolutionary biologist linked to Jeffrey Epstein. But this is from Lazi B. Robert Trivers, a Jewish biologist, spoke with Epstein about feminizing men and transitioning children as young as 3 years old in the West in 2018. Quote, with greater molecular control over development, we are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes, more feminine men, by blocking testosterone receptors for castration, and at the same time increasing estrogen production. The one blocks male features, the second encourages female features. By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. So you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies. So now you intervene with hormones.
Wow.
Man, that's genocidal. That's absolutely genocidal. But I'm sure that's not.
This is from 2018. It's not that long ago. So this is like Epstein would be dead in 8 months. And I'll read the whole. Do you guys want to read this out? This whole email?
I'll read it.
Do
I don't
Please
mind.
do.
Okay. From Robert Trivers to Jeffrey Epstein, Monday, the 17th of December, 2018. It is very simple. I will compare male to female with female to male. With greater molecular control over development, we are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes. More feminine men by blocking testosterone receptors or castration, and at the same time, increasing estrogen production. The one blocks male features, and the second encourages female features. More masculine women, heavy testosterone dosage, incredible external effects. Heavily bearded men, you would never guess they had a female bone in their body. It's okay. Keep talking. First kind, male to female, is 4 times more frequent than female to male. The first is attractive. That's subjective. The first is attractive. He is a woman with a cock, so that if your fantasy is to suck a man's dick, otherwise you are completely heterosexual. It would be much easier if the rest of the organism is female. Organism, Jesus. Then you get the best of both worlds. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money, which in turn they assert promotes their prostitution, since they have to pay hefty fees for injections every week. But they are sexually happy once you have reached manhood. Even castration does not prevent the sensation of orgasm. Contrast the poor female to male versions. They are unhappy and lonely. They are men with mum-pums, the worst of both worlds. Oh, the psychology of this person writing it is crazy. Okay. If you like smelly masculine men, you want that hard cock that comes with the show. You do not want one of nature's more complex and variable structures, the pum-pum. That is an acquired, tasted, and not with a man. There are hundreds of female trans videos and websites. I have never seen one male. By the way, we are now pushing the intervention earlier. So you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies. So now you intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows?
It's all happening by design, guys. It's not some accident. Like, are they putting stuff in the food or water? Yeah, this is intentional, guys. This is how evil these people are. These people are demons. These are a cup of abominations. It's
And if you go back, like looking at various additives in the food, like you look at the 1940s and 50s, you find people that were actually talking about what they're starting to do to the food supply. That we're now completely part of this industrial food supply, but one of the main things, besides increasing docility and lowering intelligence, is to wipe out, testosterone, and and then now, of course, the most egregious, and he's like, but who knows? Hey, pom pom.
What's a pom pom? What is that?
I'm
I
assuming
think
that's
it's
the female genitalia.
it's your
okay.
okay.
I'm assuming because they're talking about it's, they are men with mum pums,
Incels forever. Your son is effed. Yeah. Got 250 listeners. Thanks everybody in the chat. I'll try to get to the chat here in a minute. But
oh wow, 250. All right, that's great. Yeah. That's great. That's probably because they were all so happy with the Manchurian Candidate series we've been doing. It's really been wonderful that everybody's paying attention.
Yeah, the even just the Wikipedia on this guy, he's networked in Epstein's network. So it's Pinker, is all over the Epstein files. Trivers, Epstein. One of the great thinkers in the history of Western thought.
Yep.
And he's there with Richard Dawkins. And you've seen these pictures of on the plane of Pinker and Dawkins. So you have to add Trivers now to this kind of like demonic group of anti-heroes. Like,
So the guy who says that having a woman with a dick is the best of both worlds, he is, in quotes, one of the great thinkers in the history of Western thought. That's,
they never
oh.
thought this would come to the public. That's the whole thing. Subject trans. Like, so if you actually are a D trans, I've talked to one D transitioner, but if you've gone through all this empath stuff or at the, what's the hospital in the UK, Tavistock, you can
Oh,
call
right, they shut that
Trivers and
down.
ask why they did this to you, or why Jeffrey Epstein financed. We're going to see he financed this piece of crap.
Yeah, and you see this, all this stuff. This ties right into Yuval Noah Harari and this whole evolutionary thing in his book, like *Sapiens*. You can just pull that apart, but they're making these postulates that basically everything is a brain. Human beings are just input output machines. We're just machines that can run language, or at least that's what's being promoted, right? And so the whole evolution thing, it's promoting it, but it's also getting people to accept that and think, okay, I'm just a robot. I'm just a meat puppet. I'm a meat suit, in the vast cosmos alone, just this little globe, totally insignificant. Well, this is what they want you to think. And the whole Darwinism, I mean, it is not, it has never been proven. Darwin himself admitted there's a lot. Yes, you can see de-evolution. I mean, look at this, it's going on right now, right? I mean, yes, there are epigenetic phenomena. People will change, but species don't change, right? You don't change species. You know what I mean? I mean, but it's all part of this whole paradigm. And this is fed to us. Do they believe that? I don't know if they actually even believe it or not, but I think, I mean, this ties in with the whole technotronic control group. Like Epstein is part of this whole thing, right? They're funding it.
Noah Harari, I think, like he was in a satanic mindset, talking to other Satanists, basically psychopath, and he's saying that yes, humans can be hacked and because he doesn't understand love or care. He thinks that like he's assuming that the will of a human is for sex and food and whatever, you know what I mean? And those kind of people can be handled like a puppet because that's uh because you know what they want every time. You know what I mean? Like if you got a pedophile there, a PDF file, then the guy, you know what he wants. He wants that 12-year-old little girl or 10 or whatever. You can understand his motives. And then he'll never like say the truth when it comes to like exposing himself. Like their psychology is very easy to hack, and understand. So with like someone who has love and care and they, you know principles and stuff, they don't think like that. So when they make that kind of statement of, oh, we're just bio machines, and that's because they see, I mean, they have no like the inside of them is a hollow shell, and they think everybody else is a hollow shell too, and that they understand everything. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's
but
keep
just
going.
one last thing, Harari, he says that any species to survive must learn to lie. Really? So he's saying that lying is a fundamental principle of that, and he even says, basically threatens. He said, well, you have a butter, your knife can cut butter or it can stab you. AI can do the same thing, right? And if we've seen all these AI directed suicides, yet there's certain things you search on AI, it's not going to come up. But if you want to kill yourself, oh my gosh, go for it, man.
Or
Be a
maybe,
man.
right? It's interesting you say that. Wait till we see Trivers' academic papers, because you just hit the bullseye right there.
Wow.
These are interesting things. They're just talking about neurobiology, neuroscience. I thought I'd throw this in there, but this is from Wikipedia. This is not me. Trivers took 40K from notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Trivers made remarks indicating his support for Epstein, even after his conviction, minimizing Epstein's crimes and defending his reputation. Trivers said of Epstein's assaults on underage girls, by the time they're 14 or 15, they're grown women, so I don't see the acts as so heinous. Reuters reported that Trivers said Epstein is a person of integrity who should be given credit for serving time in prison and for settling civil lawsuits brought by women who said they were abused. He maintained his friendship as late as December 2019. He sure did. This is a FBI unclassified crisis intake thing from right around that time, November 2019. Crutcher, by the way, for people who this is, I don't have the number, the code number. But there's repeats. There's a lot of like repeated documents. So the actual documentation that they put out, like as 3 million docs or whatever, there's a lot of duplicates, but they're obviously different people doing the redactions on these duplicates. So you can find this in 2 or 3 versions, and the redactions are totally different. So you can actually see much more of the documents. That's how much of a slop, like, government job they did. But this is Trivers' email address, United States citizen, well-known scientist, for having personal relations with Jeffrey Epstein and speculation of sexual assault, who was 15 years old. Crutcher called the FBI. Crutcher is a follower of Trivers' scientific ideologies and described him as a genius who is referenced in many popular readings. Crutcher called Trivers via his email address. He met him in 2019, July. Crutcher knows for a fact that Trivers was a personal friend of Epstein. Yeah, well, I think that's already confirmed, but this is like an NTOC. They met at a restaurant. Crutcher said, witnessed Trivers sexually assault somebody by caressing her. Anyway, these are like kind of personal things. Here's another one. This is John Brockman. So if people don't know John Brockman, that's the guy who did all those EDGE meetings in Monterey where all those people showed up. Sergey Brin and the other guy from Google, and Musk was pictured there. It's like a honeypot operation, in my opinion. But Brockman to Epstein is about Trivers again. So you see this network: Trivers, Epstein, Brockman, Pinker, Stephen Pinker. Renegade scientist Robert Trivers is lauded as one of our greatest thinkers, despite irking academia with blunt talk and bad manners. I think it's a little more than that. Then he got fired. This is Joy Ito. That was a big scandal at MIT. If you remember, Ito was kind of a part of the network, and I think he was taking money from Epstein too. That's the whole thing, is that once he gives you money, he kind of owns you. Like, it's almost like the expectation is you're mine. You see that a lot in the alternate media, I think. That's another story. It's not, one of the things is you can see Epstein's operating tactics and then extrapolate them to other kind of rich people or oligarchs, and they kind of might operate the same way. Like you're there, you're in their stable and you're being handled. Robert Trivers, to all these people. Gordon Getty's involved in this. Gordon Getty, for people who don't know, is part of the Getty heirs oil family. And Gordon Getty is, I think, very closely involved in the political career of Gavin Newsom, who've driven California into the third world shithole it is right now. I mean, LA and San Francisco looks like it got hit by a neutron bomb. It's terrible. Also Epstein's financing abortion clinics. This is one of the people he supported, Mizra Cohen McGill. It's all this kind of nuanced, like flowery language and stuff. Like, oh, she's doing a great job. No, she's just butchering freaking women and aborting their babies. These are death cultists. And she was complaint review, encouraging white mothers to abort babies in Portland, Oregon. Not surprised.
Well, just to tie all the stuff together, so you have this whole combination of creating the fear, especially the people running the Juba daycare down from street, they're not getting abortions, that's for sure. Yeah, but basically you have the destruction of, because my grandfather from California, used to be, it was a really beautiful place you find anywhere in the world. It's, and so many of these things are destroyed, right? And certain things you destroyed, it's never going to come back where it was. So that's tangible, intangible heritage on top of abortion as and et cetera. You just go on and on. Transgender stuff, this, that. I mean, you're looking at an absolute campaign on one level to destroy the United States.
Yeah,
I mean, except for their private enclaves.
100%. Yeah,
Gavin
100%.
Newsom. I mean, even the whole other thing with giving out the free needles and all that stuff. They'll give out free drugs. That doesn't help. It's not a health solution. It's a genocide solution, is what it is.
Antinatalism, anti-life. These is a death cult. These are evil people. It's all a network. Another one, Gordon Getty to Robert Trivers, this guy we just mentioned. So this is kind of that interplay between the academic, ideologue, evolutionary biologist, and wealthy people, right? So the wealthy people are for the depopulation and all that stuff. And also CC'd is Jeffrey Epstein. I haven't seen the attachment yet, but hopefully I'll find it. Proposed theories of reciprocal altruism, parental investment, sex ratio, parent offspring conflict. Where's his next major work, Parental Investment in Sexual Selection, was published. Here, Trivers proposed a general framework for understanding sexual selection that had eluded evolutionary thinkers since Darwin, arguably his most important paper. It arose from watching male and female pigeons out the window of his third floor apartment. So that's he extrapolated that to human beings.
Oh, great. Just like the guy with the
And fruit
chickens.
flies, yeah.
The Robert Shaw, or no, was it him? It was the other guy from Germany with the Weimar Republic. That he was saying that everybody's gay.
Hirschfeld.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because he's looking at chickens, and chickens are gay, so humans are gay. Of course. Yeah.
They burned his books. That's the whole thing. Is like the Nazis were book burners, but then you saw Hirschfeld's like university stuff, and it's just all these tranny weird freaks, man.
Right. It all started there in Weimar, Germany. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's the first surgery was there. The first doctors for all that crap was there. It started there. It's funny that it's all over the world now.
No, and it was. I mean, the first surgery, the person died.
Of
wasn't
course.
exactly successful, but I mean,
Right,
they
it's
were
like
just
Frankenstein.
and basically, because of the fact that Germany was in collapse and they had basically, those new invaded, immigrants or whatever, they had all the money or whatever. So it was, of course, couched in science, but it is not science. It is an ideological agenda, just as I would posit, even though certainly some people would say, call me a tinfoil hat wearer. But the thing is that, you know what? These are ideological. They're under the mantle of science, but fundamentally, these are ideological, philosophical positions that are being advanced in the guise of science, right? And in the guise of, I mean, it doesn't take, anybody to see, these are things that are projected as this is the way people are. People are by nature evil, selfish. Okay, then you think that in your mind. It justifies your behavior, right? Or justifies certain activities. But the same thing, you say, well, we're meant to be trans. So there you go. This is a process of genocide. And you're going to basically wipe out entire bloodlines and entire genetic code that will never come back once you wipe it out. So it is absolutely, because you want to have your docile race of monkey slaves. You don't want too much
Eloi, the weak Eloi that just like lay around and eat fruit all day and then just get murderized by the Morlock every night.
That's a great reference. It's H.G. Wells for people who don't know it. It's the Time Traveler. What's the name of the book? Is the Time Machine, right?
Yeah, and H.G. Wells was having orgies with Margaret Sanger and the other eugenics people. Like he was in on that whole eugenics scene.
And Planned Parenthood, which is is Margaret Sanger, who was a eugenicist.
Totally.
And we forget that eugenics was a mainstream movement in the early part of the 20th century, right? It was mainstream, very, prominent in America, et cetera.
Yeah. Just like technocracy was.
Right? Yeah.
These people are the Morgoths, man. Epstein and Maxwell and all their friends are the Morlocks. They're literally like predator, like vampires on these, young kids that are like if you look at Giuffre or whatever. She's like a blonde hair, blue eyed, like Eloy. Like they
Right.
literally drained her like vampires, dude.
Mm.
Like evil vampires from a
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, go look at her before and after pictures when she's 15. Like they're like, we can go. Some of these files are incredible. They got Trump on them too. But these guys are scoping like victims constantly for
Right.
decades, bro. For decades. Here's
It's-
Trevor's. Here's
you
the
mentioned-
EFTA is 022952231. I will not mention EFTA again because it's the prefix or predicate for all
Right.
these files.
You mentioned Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre. Do you find it odd that she had passed away in that manner just before these Epstein things gets released? I mean,
Absolutely.
she's not here to speak up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these people are suicided.
Right.
I think it's incredible because she is a pit fighter. She took on incredibly powerful people. Epstein, Maxwell, Prince Andrew, who's the head of Masonry, by the way. People don't know this, but I think he was the Prince of Duke of York is the head of Masonry in the UK. So he has all that stuff.
Is the York right? Like the Duke?
Exactly.
Okay.
And they paid out and won. So she won against that guy. They don't know a lot of this stuff. Like Dershowitz, her civil litigation about Dershowitz is not covered by the alternate media at all. I've never heard anybody mention it. But she took that guy all the way to deposition. And for people who don't understand it, once you lie under oath, if you do, you can be prosecuted. That's how Maxwell, who should be retried for some of these new crimes, so she stays in jail the rest of her life.
One thing about Dershowitz is like how did he make his bones? He was a free speech for pornography, right? We gotta have the porn. We can't, and then he's completely anti-free speech later. But he was one that pushed through. In the beginning, it's sort of the beginning of his career. It was just free speech.
He's another one of these
porn everywhere.
Morgoths, bro. He's one of these Morgoth people. He's like on this whole network. But I was just saying, Giuffre, let me finish that. Okay. She took him all the way to the point where he was going to be deposed, and then the case stopped. And it's a big tell for me as an attorney, because what that means is that they took it outside of the court. And what really the smart people who have conflicts never go to court because the records are public, right? So when you want to settle, you just say, you settle, then tell the court we've settled out of court. And end the case with prejudice or something like that. So that's my opinion of what happened. That's what it looks like exactly, precisely to me. So they settled. He settled before he got in trouble and got arrested, in my opinion. Sorry. Oh, by the way, one of the interesting things when we were doing our mind control thing, we did the intro to McGowan's book, Mind Control 101, and we mentioned the Eberleys. Do you know who did the introduction for the Eberleys book, Denying What Happened in McMartin? Any guesses? Dershowitz.
Oh, there we go.
Of course. Yeah. Okay.
You can go to Amazon right now and just see his intro. And he also, I have that videotape of him like talking about Snufflix.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, he's a
Please talk about it. Yeah.
Well, he just like he was referenced on a Buckley. Buckley had that TV show, right? Skull and Bonesman.
Yeah.
But he's like, my friend Dershowitz argued that you could actually have a Snufflick as long as it wasn't filmed in the U.S. It's just like a weird, like mental state. Like, oh,
yeah. What kind of morality? As long as it's done over there, we can watch it here and jerk off or abuse our kids while we watch it.
Well, Dershowitz also got, you've got that fake right, sort of the takeover of the American conservative movement with Buckley. But Dershowitz, he's being, promoted as like a free speech, right, kind of right-leaning, this and that. But one thing he said, I will never forget when COVID, he's like, no, you don't have a right to your own body. We can break down the door and forcefully inject you. So it's a very sliding scale of where freedom lies and where it doesn't for Dershowitz, you know what I mean? And so but again, this is the,
he was instrumental in Epstein's first case, very instrumental, and accused of harassing victims back in 2005, 2006. And one of the this whole Acosta thing, the settlement, was that the abuse was of a person under 16 instead of 14. Because my understanding, I'll have to go back and look at those cases again, but there were victims who were under 14. But under the law, then there's a completely different, criminal exposure between somebody who's abused somebody under 14 as opposed to under 16. So they changed it that way. They allowed it to be changed. For what I'm not saying anybody got bribed or intimidated, right? I'm certainly not saying that. I'm not insinuating.
Think about it, like when they go to the island, all those Elon and all those other guys, they all go to, oh, we'll go to the great party, and this guy is such a boss. He even got caught doing the pedophilia, and they let him out. Look at, he's the king of the world. Look, he's got his eye. I mean, think of the levels of like, ego of, yeah, I raped those little girls. And yeah, they let me out because I got so much power. Look at me. I get to walk out of jail every day. Like, what? You got an ankle bracelet? And you were soliciting from a minor? How? What? And the whole thing, it's just like, it just goes to show, like, the pedophiles, they want to be in the pyramid because they can climb the ladder and be like him. Like, look at what we could do. Oh, if only, and Elon can only visit, like, Jeffrey owns this place. Wow. It's like, Michael Jackson's, like,
Wonderland. What was
Wonderland.
this place?
Yeah.
Wonderland?
Yeah. Something like that. Like Neverland. Yeah.
Neverland. That's right.
And, like, it's like a playground for them, like, it's just, anyway, I'll stop here. We'll keep going.
This is from Jeffrey Trivers and Trivers to Jeff. And Jeff responds, what is your strategy moving forward? Would you like me to fund something? So paying is in the air. Then he put something together about his productive like work thing, self-published books. But if you go back to the papers, after he was suspended from teaching in 2014, Hans mentioned about deception and lying. And it's like cognitive simplicity and self-deception are crucial in martyrdom and suicide terrorism. But I thought there was one about lying in here. Digit ratios and gender inequalities. Length of digital finger. I've heard of that. Foot symmetry. Symmetry in dance, a case of scientific fraud. I thought one of his things, I'll check his Wikipedia. Anyway, that's all I got on Trivers, but I think it's interesting. Like,
what a disgusting human being. Thank you for introducing us to that one.
Yeah, well, the body symmetry also relates to a certain types of genetic traits, but I think it also relates to left-right brain, left-right brain correlation and this kind of thing. So and this, sometimes
like
there's
whichever one is dominant has the bigger finger on the other side. Huh? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know. I mean, body,
Okay.
the face is like not symmetrical, and there's some other
right.
things with, I mean, not to go too much of a tangent, but a lot of the subtle things like Luria, you can have a subtle touch that will have, you can do a lot going with the nervous system and brain with very subtle triggers that seem very subtle to the person, right? But they're having a strong neurocognitive effect. So I don't know. Okay, I'm in front symmetry and dance. I wonder what that is.
this is the one that I remember is Folly of Fools, the logic of deceit and self-deception in human life. So that's right in the kind of Harari's worldview.
Self-deception is what people have been living in this whole time when they have been thinking that, oh, I'll just vote for this guy. He seems cool. Like, they're deceiving themselves thinking that they're going to save that, fix anything like this.
Oh, and he's buddies with Shermer.
Yeah. You have to have self-deception to believe the illusions they feed us. What were you saying, Shermer? Yeah.
So like this nexus of all these kind of like evolutionary biology thinkers, Shermer, Pinker, Dawkins, Trivers has to be in there with Epstein in the background. No question about it.
Because he really knows what are the good features, what the good phenotypes. Yeah, you gotta have a chick with a dick, 'cause those are the ones that make the most money in porn. Like, that's the level of, that's like, okay, that guy's really smart.
They're going to give hormones to 3-year-old kids. But who knows? I wouldn't do it for my kid, but who knows? Sounds good to me.
Yeah, feigning that he has any kind of love for another human being, like my kid. Oh, I wouldn't do that.
There's some really gnarly stuff about like people going missing at Zorro Ranch.
Right.
This is one of them. This was like from a spreadsheet. I'll try to find the rest of it, but
Zorro was the where they were having the breeding farm of the
right,
women, right?
New
Okay.
Mexico. That's right.
Right. Okay. And
Clients
that
of
was
whom,
okay.
uh,
Sorry,
clients
that was
of
his land was purchased by um somebody big too. The big fat dude who's got a rich family. He's in the government. God damn it.
I'm not finding it. I
I'm
don't know.
sorry. Yeah, but New Mexico, the person who bought Epstein's land basically is like covering up the evidence by like owning it. Now nobody can investigate and like
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is there's a couple things in Epstein where bodies are buried at that ranch. A couple bodies have been buried, and they're threatening people. Do you want to end up there? And there's also allegations of bodies being. These are allegations. I don't know. Also in Rancho Palos Verdes at Trump's property is golf course in L.A. So, but here it is.
Right.
Clients who included Epstein, Robin Leach, Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's head of security, and if she ever talked of what went on there or who she saw, she would end up as fertilizer for the back nine holes like the other CUNTSs.
Isn't Trump's first wife buried there?
I think so for tax reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's funny.
it would
with the
fit in
other
if they're
cunts,
yeah.
Jeez.
Complainants claim to have video of high-profile sex parties, dealings with cartels, and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. So this is Eyes Wide Shut, totally. So it is.
Robin Leach. Now everybody remembers, like people that are our age at least, the lifestyles of the rich and famous. The guy who voices that program. Look at the yacht. I think they even had an Epstein episode of that show.
Really, I didn't know
Epstein
that.
was featured. I think it was that show. It wasn't like MTV Cribs. I think it was the
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, it was like maybe it was like just before he got arrested the first time. But anyway, it was like really early 2000. But yeah, that dude that everybody like I grew up and that became like that and the Grey Poupon commercial with the the limo coming up and like the Robin Leach or the lifestyles of the rich and like it gave me the view of that's what those people are, and that specific guy Robin Leach is killing children with his bare hands.
Okay. Allegedly, like that's what's
right. My opinion.
I'm just saying, like,
yeah, watch out, man.
I get it. Yeah, right.
I'm just saying,
Robin
like,
Leach has got some reach,
I think Leach is no longer with
from beyond the grave.
I think he's burning in hell. Yeah,
right. Yeah, let's
no,
hope.
but notice his name, Leach, right? I mean, no, but I mean, is there, you see that this quote unquote class, you can't really to become a billionaire unless you've got something pushing behind you just to do it. It's not. I mean, you got to think of $999 million. You know what I mean? It's like you think 1 million knows 999 million. It's and people have 10 billion, 50. How do you get into this world? And I know a guy who's a pilot and he flies private jets for billionaires, and he literally says they see themselves as a separate species. They do not see, you literally are not even up to probably they care more for their pet monkey than they do for you. If they have pet monkeys.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're just bugs. We're just like annoying cockroaches. Just to show the kind of incompetence of the government and what you can do on these files if you really have the time and inclination and look through it all. I'm going to pull it.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Sean?
I can. Yep.
Okay.
I think it's
I think it might be okay. This is like how you can see what a slam job. So I'll mention these two call numbers or whatever, so people check them out. It's 012-46908, and then the other one is 000948883. So 000948883. Prefix is EFTA. These are the same documents, guys. So these are the same ones, and I wish I could pull them up. If I was clever, I could probably try to pull them up at the same time. But we're going to just kind of read through them. They're from March 8th, 2021. They're Federal Bureau of Investigative Reports. But what's interesting is what a crappy job. Oh, crap. Let me do this. What a lousy job the government did. So here's one. And if you look at the first page, you'll see these aren't very redacted. There's not very many redactions here. This is the 883 one. And then if you go to the other one, this is the 908 one. It's the same document, right? Different redactions. So you can kind of see the differences in these two things. So if you find a document, there may be a similar document. So you could use a search term. This is actually even more interesting because the second page on this one is the 909 document. If you see, this is heavily redacted, right? Well, look at the next one. Look at the one. This is common throughout all of the documents, guys. This is the second page on the other one. See the little few redactions are? Either of you guys feel like reading this document or finding it and reading it? It's EFTA 000948883.
It's a little bit hard to actually.
Okay, are you able to read that, Sean, or not? Should I do it?
I wish the resolution was better.
Okay, let's see if I can send it to you. I'll email it to you. Okay. If I email it to you, can you bring it up?
Yeah, I can get it.
Let's see if I can. I'm competent to do that. It's questionable. Anyway, guys, this.
Thank you, listeners, for being here. Yeah. This is great. I like it.
We got 316 people following this. The Einstein documents, or whatever we're calling them. Epstein. 220. Okay, I'm sending it to you guys.
Thank you.
My computer is just not, or I need a new computer. This thing's terrible.
When you're pushing the stream, it's really bogged down.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Did you add it to? I see the hypnosis.
Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, you can bring up the hypnosis one too if you want. I just sent you the Dubin doc. It's actually pretty interesting.
Okay.
There's a lot of hypnosis things involved in here. They actually talk. They talk to each other about mesmer. There's some like mesmer references, which is crazy. I think I'll go take the time to kind of go through some comments about that. Hi, everybody. Welcome, everybody. I just sent you the email, I hope.
Oh, there it is. It just popped in. Okay.
Should say Dubin.
Dubin, yeah.
This is my story. Good evening. Hi, Sedessa, Pienta. We're talking about eugenics right now. Christy Huey, you beat us to it. We are talking. I mean, we just scratched the surface. That was only one guy in one document. There's a lot of other things involved in there, but the fact of like the new phenotype and that they're implementing it is crazy. Jan Vier, welcome. Adrenico Bardis, P. Thomas. Let's see if I can get this up so you guys can see it. Convicted policeman, that's right. You're swimming in evil, Tsar the Star, that's correct. He ain't dead. I think we just proved that he's pretty much dead. He looks freaking dead. They must have did a great fake job. But I think he's dead, man. I think that John Luke Brunel's dead. I think a lot of those people died. So.
Yeah, again, why would they bother keeping him alive? He served his purpose. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know what I mean? And so just get rid of him. You know?
Right.
didn't get the job done the first time. I think you're right. I didn't read the other thing where he like was talking like to the police. I gotta find that.
Okay, I've
How
got
could
it
he be in
open.
jail? Okay, let's see. Thought he was God. I think so. Yes, it is streaming to Rumble. You're streaming right now to Rumble. William Ramsey investigates. 18 listeners. I streamed to like 6 different sites, and then it also streams to Sean and Hans's place, so you can watch it there too. I think on YouTube, and then it all comes back, and I see it because I see it from my side, which says 320 live listeners. Like I don't even know what's on X. I have to go to X and check it out. Stephen Weishaupt, I want to know what's going on at New Mexico Ranch. A lot. There's a lot going on. That's just one node, guys. These guys were crazy.
And it's funny that they don't talk about it. Like that kind of stuff is the most like important to understand is the breeding and the science to kill us off. Like they want to breed these ones and they want to kill off those ones. And why do they cover that up? You know, why is it that women get a t-shirt that says, I had 17 abortions, yay, you know, and they're so proud. Like anyway.
It's this kind of thing. This Dark Journalist does a great job. I watch that guy a lot. I used to watch him a lot more. I got to follow up with him, but he does great. He's actually a real journalist, in my opinion. Good stuff on like the occult background of Silicon Valley. Like I grew up around a lot of the names that he talks about. They were all into freaking theosophy and stuff. Really crazy.
Right.
Poppy says, "Good morning. How's this not every headline of every newspaper website in the world?" Good question. What's up, Hans Utter from Sar of the Star? Barry Gates killed Gary, killed all the guys stole DOS from. Nothing would surprise me. I'm not aware of that.
Jeez. And all he got was a pie in the face.
I like the William Blake image there. That's a William Blake, one of his.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is it right there. Yeah.
True master, William Blake.
Yeah. An immortal. Heard from Dr. Bean's wife, who has a podcast just to serve he was murdered. Yeah, I think so. I think that's my take. With the high iode bone broken, I would say that's the case.
Isn't there like the New Mexico, the ranch was also one in Mexico? Isn't that there's stuff connected with the finders, with the McMartin? There seem to be some kind of networks, right? Even the Process Church. I don't know how much of that, if that is interconnected at all, but
it's a great question. One of the things that I found kind of in the last 4 days, it seems like I've done a lot of reading, but there was a meeting in 2014 that involved Epstein going to Juarez and having a special meeting. And if you're familiar with Juarez, why would he go to Juarez? It's on the other side of El Paso, but that's the epicenter of the kind of femicides, these feminine murders where they think that these women are like Epstein. They are being selected to be annihilated, really, to be raped and killed. And there's been thousands of them. And I did a show on it. There's actually a really interesting book, a fictional book by Roberto Bolaño, Bolan. It's like a freaking literary masterpiece. It's translated into English, but it centers around elite, like dark stuff. It's an incredible book, dude. It'll blow your mind. Like if you have the intellectual strength, it's called 2666. So if anybody wants to read something or they have a lot of free time, check it out. Mind Hack. I love the Smiley Face Killings documentary. Thanks. There's 2 of them. You can see them on my Patreon. Let's see. Military bases like Presidio. Yes. What about the Sundial? Were they doing rituals on there? I think you're probably right, Stephen. They're there for a reason. Santa Fe Institute, Cormac McCarthy. Santa Fe Institute is a nexus point and has Maxwell's other daughter is affiliated. Christine Maxwell, I believe, is affiliated with the Santa Fe Institute in New Mexico, as well as her husband, who is part of the Suicide Squad with Jack Parsons. Her husband's dad is Molina. She's actually, her last name is, her married name is Molina, but her dad was with Jack Parsons, Foreman, and Molina. It's a Czech last name, but affiliated with Santa Fe thing. It's crazy. There was a scene in Pulp Fiction, Bart, Mr. Wolf, yeah, the fixer or whatever. Too realistic, too graphic. They threatened X rating list. Tarantino removed it. think of how bad it might have been. Yeah, I don't know. Is that extracted scene out there? I don't know.
Uh, that that's where they shot the dude in the head in the car. Remember, like a accident or whatever, and the guy's brains was everywhere. I mean, what we saw was pretty bad. Like, yeah, like he's saying, imagine, Jesus.
Yeah. Epstein bankrolled Garepi. I know that guy. I've heard of his name, but I didn't know he's affiliated with that. I don't know if he's. Does anybody know if that guy's in the Epstein files? I don't know.
Oh yeah, someone mentioned the Gene Hackman. Anything with that going on with that Gene Hackman thing? I was kind of following when it first happened, but it was pretty fishy. You know about that, right? Hackman's
Yeah,
murder.
Well, he
he
was
and
in
his
New
wife.
Mexico, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and then I don't know exactly what played out with that. Anyways,
The one of them had like a fungus or something, and
told each other.
I forget. No, I think it was some kind of like weird infection, and then the other one died like a week later or some shit. I forget what it was. I'm probably like doing it wrong, saying it wrong, but I do have the document up. If you guys,
All right, just to say, almost done with this.
all right.
Much love, guys. Hope you're all well. Thanks. Smash that like. Thanks. You can also restream this, guys, if you want to. Bragging about 3-year-old trans in public. Yeah. They have a structure to us completely. That's right, William. I do believe that Mind Hack, this is wild. No doubt. They've been working on this for a long time. This is so Kubrick. That's right. There's no question.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Right.
Tavistock got a building. Yeah, Tavistock's very important. A part of this whole restructuring of culture or changing images of man. What are the chances Ghislaine does the same thing in prison? I don't know. I'd be pretty nervous if I was her.
She's cooperating. They're giving her. Oh, she's got a next week. She's going up in front of the judge. I think it's the 9th or something. She's scheduled. So I wonder what's going to happen after all of this. You know, all this crap in the news. She's probably going to. And she had a deal with how many? 25 people or something, where she had like a deal where she's not going to say anything about them. And it wasn't like Trump one of them or some crap, or like
I don't know.
I should be more specific in my words here, but I don't really know exactly. I'm sorry.
This is Flip says, I've been trying to tell people for years. They've been literally been creating these LGBT people. Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah,
It's a social engineering.
right.
Even 20 years ago, regular gay people were extremely rare. Right. This is a social movement.
And you know
Rachel, thanks, Finn.
The chemicals that they're spraying in the air and they're putting in the food. And it's obvious, like the atrazine and shit. Like
Douglas, New World Order will be psychopathic, non-divine, spark, soulless person that these parasite claims we are. They are creating exact world. They really are. I totally agree. It's well said.
Said, yeah.
Let's see, Hirschfeld, father of transgenderism.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see, Hitler Jugend. Let's see, destroying countries. I think Bill Gates' dad was the head of Planned Parenthood or something.
They were part of the board, and they were, I think they're personally family friends with Sanger also. So he's very big into, he's following that exact same, and it's a family line, and his parents were very, very prominent. His mother, especially. I mean, they were
the mother, right.
I mean, he already had, before he ripped off the Microsoft technology, probably basically from the guys that worked at Xerox that actually built it, and but he already was set for life, so he wasn't just he already had a trust fund and everything like that, so he did not come up from he wasn't by his bootstraps, he was already dialed in from birth, and part of this eugenics power broker families, I think it goes back to his grandparents also.
I think you're right.
Yeah, his grandparents were, one of them was the head of the Federal Reserve Bank of Seattle. And the mother was on the board of some charity. Let's see. It was one of the biggest charity, like philanthropy charity thing. And she was on the board of that thing with the guy from IBM. And they were like, "Oh, we need this system," and she's like, "Oh, well, go with my son here, and he's got a computer thing, and that so like he was just given that by there was no but she like her I forget what the name of it but they fund Planned Parenthood. So like there's that cross between the families. Like 20% of Planned Parenthood is paid by this what the hell, let's see.
Well, Watson was a known eugenicist too. The guy who's the head of FBI. The guy, I think, I forgot the guy who like Deep Blue was named after. Tara says these people are too narcissistic to kill themselves, but I doubt they are all living on an island. Yeah, no, they're not. They're dead.
Yeah.
United Way.
Okay.
She was the United Way's executive committee, and she served with IBM CEO John Opel.
Steve Bannon is a theosophist. Can anybody confirm that? I didn't know that.
That's good. But
Ernst Younger is a character in 266. Yeah, that's a book is made like it's a literary flex of the First Order, man. It's so good. Like
Like
it's
a
a
Thomas
crazy
Pynchon
smart.
guy.
Yeah. Oh, the guy knows everything, but also I think he caught the zeitgeist of this kind of almost like Epstein, where you're like beyond national borders. So it takes place in Europe and then comes to the U.S. and the guy was, I mean, Roberto Bolaño, Bolaño. Wow, crazy book. Gene Hackman, Epstein. I don't know. We just talked about that. I don't know. We don't know, guys. Oh, that's where you guys got it. You're reading about it. Okay. We made it through all of the text message. We're 335 listeners. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Really appreciate it. Okay. You ready to read that? Can I bring that up
Yeah,
again?
man. Yep.
All right. Do that again.
All right.
Hold on. Let me bring it up. I think, which one was it? Was it 908? No. This is it. 000948883, right? Is that the one you're reading?
Yep. So one of four, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Redacted, date of birth, redacted, email address, redacted, cellular number, redacted, was interviewed telephonically. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing agents and the nature of the interview, blank provided the following information. Blank believed that the FING RS organization is part of a cult that also included Ernst Gubler. Blank has
Sean, could that be finders? I would assume that may be finders, not fingers, right? Potentially as finders.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense. But it's written as FING apostrophe RS. So anyway, so it could be a typo, obviously. Blank has a lot of photographs from trade shows, including key players. Blank has a photograph of Harvey Weinstein receiving an award at a cosmetics show. Blank wondered why Weinstein would even receive an award at a cosmetics show. Blank advised she did not have pictures of a crime. Blank had started watching mainstream television again when Jeffrey Epstein was in the news. This was how Blank learned what was going on. Blank never met Epstein. Then Blank advised she knew something about the case no one was talking about. From 1975 to 1976, Epstein was a substitute teacher at her high school. Blank has met Eva Dubin, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Coco Brown. Blank met Eva more than one time. Blank initially met Eva at a trade show. Eva was Blank's boss's wife's doctor. Eva hung out with Maxwell and another Blank. Blank did not know much about Maxwell. Blank was an art director of the company in which she designed and developed products. When everything came out in the news, Maxwell's face was similar to Blank. When Blank went back through her photographs, she found a picture of Maxwell in a red leather jacket. Blank thought Louis and Eva were also in the picture. Blank recalled one interaction in Bologna she had with Maxwell while standing in line with friends for the bathroom at a trade show. Maxwell walked by with friends and commented, "Oh, these Americans, don't they know they can use the men's bathroom?" Uh, Blank has watched a lot of YouTube videos about Epstein. Blank went to the trade show that was really awful in New Orleans. Glenn Dubin, Glenn, and Leon Black were present, and Jimmy Savile was the entertainment for the night. Blank described it was pretty disgusting. When asked why it was disgusting, she explained that it was disgusting because she was in a room full of perverted men. Gubler and his team tried to get Blank in the in crowd, which she did not want to be in. They offered her money and offered to change her life. At the time, nothing made sense to her. Blank has since put everything together. Gubler had a home in Germany and Switzerland. Gubler had a home in Germany and Switzerland. Using a trade show, or during a trade show, Blank was at his house on the lake in Switzerland when she overheard a conversation between two men, one whose name she did not recall, and the other was Freddie Fry. Fry is since deceased. Blank overheard the comment, "This is where the children come from." There was no other context to this conversation. When Blank returned home from this trip, she and Fry had a conversation where Fry stated that he had done so many terrible things. Fry did not elaborate on what those things were. Blank did not witness these individuals around minors at these events. Len Indelicato was Blank's boss in California. Indelicato was Blank's favorite boss until she learned that he was involved. When asked how she learned how he was involved, Blank advised that she knew he was involved because he was around all the people, including Gubler. Blank knows that Indelicato knows everything. Blank advised the alumni list from George Washington High School connects a lot of players to Epstein. Blank advised she and Epstein had a friendship. When Blank was in high school, she was a street dancer. When Epstein would see Blank outside of school, he would ask her where the parties were going to be. Epstein and Glenn grew up in the same neighborhood, Washington Heights. There was a large Jewish community. Blank thought Epstein was being groomed there. Blank imagined that the neighborhood was cultivating young people there. When
Right,
Blank,
that validates everything you've been saying about how Epstein was privileged from the beginning, right? So
Yeah.
just fall around. And the timeline works for him being a sub teacher too, because he was born in 53. So he was about 20, early 20s.
right. And it figures like with his proclivities, he'd want to be around children for a job, just like Hastert was a gym teacher. When Blank knew Epstein,
A wrestling coach, no less.
yeah, dude,
He's over
gross.
there manhandling dudes.
Gross. When Blank knew Epstein as her substitute teacher, he was sloppy and overweight. The next time she saw him, he looked put together. Another key player was Dino Lamparello, who goes by Dino Valentino. Dino was originally from New York and worked at Fingers. Dino bragged about getting Picasso artwork. Blank was working at Worldwide Cosmetics at the time. Dana Siegel was a crazy young lady who was the designer of tween products. Dino followed her. Dino and Siegel became enemies. Blank left WWC because she was having trouble with the management. At the same time, Siegel was also being pushed out. Blank felt the both of them were being pushed out of the companies. Blank visited Fingers. Blank met Fairchild and described her as having a stinky attitude when she would visit. Blank read an article that Fairchild was involved with Epstein. The company that bought out Fingers was owned by Epstein. Blank did a photo shoot for Fingers where she was taking photos of a model or pictures of a model. Blank thought the model was around 16 or 17 years old. Blank thought the girl was high when she was brought in the limo. Blank thought the girl's name may have been Nikki. Blank thought the model looked like Jane Doe 15, as referred in the news. Blank then advised it may not be her. Blank described the Dubins au pair she talked about in a prior interview had short brown hair. Blank thought the girl's name was Nadia, with a long last name beginning with M. Blank heard Gubler got a woman from Brazil who took care of a girl that was left on his doorstep. Blank had heard there was a lot of sex trafficking in Brazil. Agent note, shortly after this interview, Blank sent multiple photographs via email. They are attached in a 1A. That's it.
Pretty remarkable document tying Gubler, Eva Dubin, Ghislaine Maxwell, Coco Brown, and to Jimmy Savile in New Orleans. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. But this Gubler guy is really something else. If you guys can pull up another file, let me see where it is. It's if you want to read one. Do you know how to like pull up documents from the justice.gov Epstein, Hans?
Tell me again. You told me.
Just go to justice.gov and then type in Epstein. And this is another one of the files, EFTA 00101-928. I'll say it again, 00101-928.
Okay.
And I can send it to you as well if you like. It involves Gubler, but it's eyes wide shut levels. Like this is like the real stuff. They won't cover this in like even alternate media.
Should I put the number in? I'm getting all these results, but I'm not getting the number of the file.
It should go specifically if you type in EFTA 001 01928.
Okay.
I'll email it to you. 001 01928. Then copy it. Make sure you've copied it because sometimes it doesn't work. It's like they've actually throttled the site.
Sorry, no results found.
Yeah, no. You have to refresh.
Okay.
Then you say you're not a robot. They've deliberately throttled the site, guys. I'm not kidding.
Okay, yeah, just send it to me. It's not. Okay, it is not popping up.
I'll email it to you. Send it to you again. This involves this guy Gubler dude.
I mean, Savile's just amazingly deeply involved. You know, even there were people that talked about him. He was doing literally satanic rituals. You know, sitting on a throne, all this stuff. And so I wondered what, he's, what degree these are all interpenetrating networks. Let's see here. Okay.
When he died, they called him a beast. He was having sex with corpses and stuff. Some people called him head of the Ninth Circle. He's a member of the Knights of Malta, which is really weird. But I sent it to you too, Sean.
Yep. done.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, here
So
it
you
is.
read this one. This is kind of overlaps with it.
Okay, yep. Um, okay,
Google.
so here we go. 3821, um, blank date of birth, email address. I'll just skip all that.
They mentioned their name, the very long Amanda Nicole Young, Meter Kimberly. Is that the person who that's about? Oh no, it's not.
So here we go. Um, quote, okay, blank believed that the Fingers organization is part of a cult that also included Ernst Gubler. Uh, Blank has a lot of photographs from trade shows, including key players. Blank has a photograph of Harvey Weinstein receiving an award at a cosmetic show.
No, that's the old one.
Oh, that's the same.
Yeah,
That's the same.
EFTA 001-01928.
Okay, that's
You'll
the one
see
I
the
just
number
got.
on the bottom right hand. Did I send
Yeah,
you the wrong one?
you sent me that one. I think that's what I
Oh,
just downloaded.
okay, well, I
Yeah,
sent you the wrong one.
yeah. So, oh, well, it did
Uh,
sound a little familiar, but that's okay. It was good just to go that the Colts or the Fingers, whatever. I wonder what that is. Did you find anything on that?
no,
Um,
you have the wrong email. I sent you. Go to the earlier email.
yep.
I'll
So the
resend it again.
101928, correct? Is that the one
Correct.
I'm?
That's the one I
Okay.
want you to read.
Okay, got it. Okay, here we are. And okay, so okay, so just basically advise the nature of the interviewing agent and analyst and the nature of the interview. Blank provided the following information. Blank was a lead designer for blank, blank, blank. Started in California before it branched out to Europe, Brazil, India, Germany, and Switzerland. Blank is from New York and grew up in New York. Blank's friend asked her if she had seen the news about a billionaire. Blank did not really watch the news. When Blank saw Jeffrey Epstein's face, she was rocked. In quotes, she was, quote, rocked. Blank could not originally place Epstein, but every time she saw his face, something spoke to her. There was a story that came out about a school, and Epstein was from her neighborhood. Blank went to George Washington High School from around blank. She had a substitute teacher who was young and playful. Blank was 17 years old when there was a lot of flirting from the substitute. Blank was engaged to be married at the time. The substitute knew she was a dancer and wanted to go to parties. Blank's friend had a pornographic magazine that was sold for about 10 cents in the streets back then. Blank's friend opened the magazine and she saw her substitute teacher in it. He was getting blowjobs. The substitute
Wow.
walked in and saw them with the magazine, and his face changed. The substitute pulled her aside and asked her not to say anything. He explained that he was in the magazine to help him get through school. Was he getting mad? Who was giving him blowjobs? That's a question, though. He explained, help him get through school. Blank believed the substitute was Epstein. She was pretty sure it was him, but could not say for sure. Blank's friend asked her if she had seen Tiger King on Netflix. When Blank turned it on, she recognized the Tiger King. Blank's friend remembered that Blank had pictures with him. When Blank went through her pictures, that is when she came across other pictures with Epstein. Blank left New York to go to California where she was married and had children. When Blank got divorced, she went to school to be a designer. Blank worked for Blank. In or around 1988, 1989, Blank started the billion-dollar business of Blank. Okay. Blank attended trade shows and met people. Blank attended a trade show in New Orleans that was full of adult men in attendance, including Jimmy Savile. Blank described Savile as a sexual deviant. So now we have cross-reference right to that same incident. Okay. Blank went to a lot of trade shows and did a lot of international travel. Blank heard a conversation in Switzerland that children flew to the United States. The people she heard this conversation from were the same people having parties with Savile. Blank could not remember their names. Blank never saw anything, quote, gross. Savile had a partnership with blank, 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 was owned by Dr. Ernest Gubler. Blank described Gubler as a sexual deviant. Blank recalled Gubler showing up with his wife Helga, who was an ex-hooker. Helga told blank that she was so beautiful she needed to have blank. Blank told her boss Gubler and Helga made her uncomfortable. Blank's boss's wife had cancer, and Glenn Dubin's wife, Eva Dubin, was her doctor. Gubler was involved with Glenn and Eva. Gubler pulled out a chain that had a golden dick on it. Gubler told Blank he drank the blood of children and it invigorated his sex life. Blank recalled hearing about a child being put on Gubler's doorstep and he raised the child. The child became a lunatic and Gubler sent her away. Blank met the Dubins, Blank, who said she was a sex slave. In around 1999, Blank was working at Blank in the California office when she went outside to smoke. Outside was a man whose name she did not recall with the Dubins, Blank. Blank thought the Blank was around 16, 17 years old. The Blank said she should not want to be there. Blank asked her why she did not get out then. Then Blank said they took her passport. The man laughed it off, saying that it's what they do to hold on to her. So that's done a lot with even people that come to work in the United States or whatever. They just keep your passport. You can't go anywhere, right? You're trapped. So obviously that's, anyways. Glenn and Black knew each other. Black was taking photographs around the office and recalled asking the receptionist Cindy Cooper who the asshole in the office was, and she replied it was Leon Black. They wanted her to put her camera away. Another person in the photos was El Delgado, who worked at Blank. Blank had looked at flight logs. The trade shows and flight logs matched up. Blank thought Leon Black was involved. Blank described this was just putting her off all the stuff together. People brought sex slaves to the trade shows and parties. They called themselves that. Everybody talked about sex slaves and left. Due to technical difficulties, not all material was covered during this interview. Okay, wow.
There's a lot there to unpack. Savile, sex slaves, trafficking, passport seizure, blood drinking, names. Black paid out $150 million, is my understanding. So I think he was deeply involved in this stuff. This just corroborates a lot of stuff that has already happened. But
They didn't talk about this on the regular news.
yeah, really, it's not on Fox. Gubler told Blank. I don't know. I haven't figured out who Dr. Gubler is. It may even be a fake name. But he drank the blood of children for sexual, whatever.
Yeah,
that goes back to ancient, they used to think it would be give them virility. We even talked about it before, how even Gandhi would sleep next to naked young women and stuff to get their virility. Supposedly didn't touch them or whatever. But I mean that's a long tradition of crazy people doing pedophilia for kids.
Well, it shows also the connection with because I've also the orange guy. I won't say his name. But the orange guy, the one person who, this guy that came out, some professional athlete, talking about basically eyes wide open type of parties going on, and he was afraid to talk about it. And this guy's some, professional football player. He said, I got out of there. This stuff is evil, right? What he saw. But he said that he was running beauty pageants, fashion, teen beauty pageants, fashion shows. And then there's a connection also with this cosmetic stuff. So the cosmetic trade shows. So it looks like there's some, going on there. But I'm wondering if the fingers is just because FBI obviously was quite involved in the cover up of that. If that's a euphemism because they describe it as a cult. So I don't know. That's a supposition. But this Gubler guy sounds pretty creepy, man. That's for sure.
It's crazy stuff, man. Really crazy. And Epstein's involved maybe in porn very early, which would make sense. And then Tiger King supposedly around. I don't know.
No, I'm gonna. Sorry, I withdraw my comment.
There's one thing where this guy Blanche, who is supposedly heading all this, He literally says we didn't disclose the stuff regarding CSAM child abuse material or torture or anything else. Have you guys heard that video?
Yeah,
Trying
would
to
you like to
find it.
play it for the
I'm trying to
audience?
find it.
I'll bet it's on YouTube on the first page if you go, but I'll try to find it. I watched it earlier. It's probably in my history. I'll find it.
I don't know if this is it. I have to.
Oh yeah, the testimony of Sasha Riley. That's in my history too. That apparently that's why Trump.
I think this is it.
Trump walks pretty funny and he wears diapers.
Jeopardize an active federal investigation.
Yeah,
that guy that says he kicked him in the.
Yeah.
That's
put a tent spike in. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I mean, that guy is a little bit obviously couldn't have already been through, but yeah. So, anyways, go ahead.
You found it. Okay, good.
I think this is it. Let's leave.
Yeah.
Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced.
That means they have images of death, physical injury, and abuse.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, they're
Right?
saving that for the heady jar. They're keeping that for themselves.
I'm just saying, like, these are tells, man.
Yeah, of course.
We're not producing that. We have it.
And they also said that there's not going to be any new charges, right? Didn't they say that too?
I don't know. I don't remember that, but he said there's active investigations right there.
Well, that sounds like a way to weasel out of
Sure
producing stuff. I mean, they don't actually have to produce an investigation, you know.
But that's an admission that there are images of death, dismemberment, and stuff filmed. So that's they wouldn't say that if there weren't. So that's their direct admission. There's no way they'd say that if they did exist. That's.
It's funny. I mean, it was only like a few weeks ago. It was all a Democrat hoax, you know, and now they're just flooding us with this fire hose. And it seems to me like it's on purpose for our reaction, you know, like that's it. Like they made us, you know, never forget when 9/11, and they made us watch the tower, all the, you know, on all TV all day, to traumatize us, right? So this stuff that we're reading and we're learning about, and images of death being told this, it's trauma. You know, it's like watching Kennedy get his head blown off. Like, it's, oh my God, our leaders are that, like, normal people can't fathom. Like, even like Kim Iverson and stuff. Like, she talks about this type of stuff all the time, and she's like bashful and sick. She can't say the words because it's just so like horrendous, you know. And the regular people that like. Yeah, regular people, but like I watch Democracy Now! They totally avoid all of it, like all that stuff, the dirty stuff, right? You know, and it was funny at the end. The guy he said, "This is why we need a special master." It was really silly. I just laughed.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, Savile was, you know, again, there's, you know, with you know, many cases of him holding satanic rituals, being best friends with Prince Charles. Like, he would call Savile to go over his speeches, like the Queen and King and the highest Margaret Thatcher. They were all, and he's all over the media, you know, and he's there wearing necklaces of and rings of eyeballs he's stolen from corpses that he desecrated sexually, you know, on TV, on award TV shows. And you can even see videos of where he's grabbing some girl in the rear end while they're on the show.
Yeah,
you know,
Jim will fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. Jim will fix it. Like, they didn't know that was going on. Give me a break. I mean, that was, you know, come on. I mean, and the thing
he's
was
like their court occultist. Like all these guys have occultists, whether it's Elizabeth and Dee or Crowley and all the elite. He was their Svengali or whatever.
Yeah, and he's right there in the public eye, very clear what he was doing. I mean, it's not like, and the thing was like he had He said every night he was sleeping with a different woman. Well, no one, they could not find a single female that would have the tell-all tale of having an affair with Jimmy Savile. None. His whole
Right.
career. Nobody. You think anybody would come out, right? So if he's such a player and a womanizer, well, it's because obviously they were not of age or whatever. But I mean, he was a friggin' monster. And then there you go. So
Do you ever see his picture with the Yorkshire Ripper?
No.
Yeah, that guy was scared. He was like, "Ooh."
There was one of his victims was found like within throwing distance of Savile's apartment in northern England. Yeah, let me see if I can find that picture. There's like horrible entries in the Epstein files of these little kids talking about their children being taken away. So this is like one of the darkest elements of the entire drop from Friday is that these kids did this mix of poetry. I couldn't place their names. This one is EFTA 02731393. And there's multiple. I can just go through multiple of these PDFs. But this person put it into codes and stuff. And this is like a picture of a child's like what do they do with the womb where they have the radio sound or extra sound?
Ultrasound.
Thank you. But this is just like really dark stuff. And some guy took the time to translate this stuff. Sorry, Jeffrey. These things happen when your body has never been given time to heal. So it came out in the toilet. I didn't know what to do, so I flushed the tiny little fetus. You've made me numb, and I hate you for this. I hope to never see you again. I'm not your personal incubator. Where's the baby? Where's Ghislaine? Like these have this ring of authenticity to me. Like some kid like really letting out their, teen torture or whatever. On Misery's Trail, told of reporting on human anguish. This actually kind of reminds me of Eyes Wide Shut, the weird driving scenes with these type of houses with brickwork like downtown Manhattan. You should never be here alone. He should be in jail. Like she's talking, like this is somebody really disturbed. Background photos of New York City. Who could have predicted this? I should have. So sad the city could be beautiful if it weren't filled with monsters. The blood from Leon is no longer there. I don't know what that means. Tomorrow's the halfway ultrasound for Jeffrey. This one stuck. After these people should be put to death. Like I'm glad Jeff is dead. After they took the first baby who survived in the early miscarriage, I think it was called, I no longer feel like a person, but a vessel. Will they take this one too? Who has the first one? Where did Ghislaine go? She's never around. I can't let myself get attached. I'm not old or mature enough or even in the place to have a baby that I would be responsible for. I'm not even able to focus on anything other than hiding this again. I had to go eating disorder treatment prior to being in this situation again and missed the entire fall semester of school. I'm so very exhausted. My body feels so tired. Will I ever be free? That's why they all look so freaking guilty and they paid out because they knew they were involved in the darkest shit imaginable. Like Ghislaine Maxwell didn't like protest at all. You know what I mean? Like, why are you guys doing this to me? Because they were involved in the darkest crap. I didn't console her. I can't unhear her screams. So that's 02731393. And then I think this guy, let's see if I can pull this up. He translated this one. He decrypted it, right? There are always flights of horror, whether it's with Jeffrey, Mr. Leonsis, Mr. Case, Mr. Steiner, the Gregorys, Mr. Colgan, or one being borrowed by a seemingly good federal worker and even rented. It is all horror. And nothing is that as it seems. I'm so confused by everything. And people you expect to be good, even like old senators like George Mitchell, who you think will be like Grandpa, are bad. Mr. Kimsey is deranged. The answer is see crazy. It all is. So she's fingering George Mitchell, who also was fingered by Virginia Giuffre. So, but I mean, let me see if I can find the other ones. Like, it's freaking horrible stuff. There's a number of those. Like I didn't set them aside all in the same place.
I mentioned Jakob Frank, but that goes Sabatini. I mean, so this again, converted to Catholicism, connected with all these elite ruling houses, many people, running this stuff. So these type of sex parties and all this stuff ties all the way back into that, back in the 1666, and that, it could be some of the roots of this stuff going into the royal houses of many, or nobility in many European states.
Very well said, and your timing is perfect because I can show this one too, which is Jeffrey Epstein's company working with the Rothschilds. I don't have the number on this one, but letter of agreement is typically they're working together. $25 million. In consideration for the work, the Rothschild Group shall pay you 25 mil. You, on behalf of Southern Trust Company Inc. and Virgin Islands Corporation, have been collaborating with Ariane D. Rothschild on behalf of Edmund D. Rothschild, the Rothschild Group, regarding risk analysis and the application use of certain algorithms with the same specified matter. I got to figure this out. Like, I don't even look into the specified matter, but it's clearly working with the Rothschilds. Crazy. These files are just off the charts, guys. Blood drinking. I haven't even gotten to the murder ones yet. Like the bodies are buried over here.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that Satanism, a really good definition of Satanism, has 4 tenets of the philosophy: is self as the best thing ever, love, like the narcissism, basically, and then moral relativism. Okay, we see that everywhere in these things. Social Darwinism, where they believe some people are just slaves or, can be treated as dogs or whatever. And then eugenics is the last one, where they believe they can control society, dominate the world. So that is Satanism right there. And so this is Satanism, guys. Everybody gets mad when you use the word, but it's not people that believe in a guy with a pitchfork and a red hat. You know what I mean? Well, the red hat, the orange guy, but I mean, it's not some devil guy from the book that everybody is familiar with. It is this ideology. It's a philosophy of those 4 tenets. Okay, so keep that in mind at all times when you're watching this and reading those documents.
See, a lot of like trafficking and art and stuff is in here.
Money laundering. Yeah.
Here's one somebody found. This is Zorro Ranch was mentioned earlier, I believe. This is let's take this out. Screen. This is from Frankie Stokes. It's real, Stockes. I followed this guy on Twitter. Epstein's 10,000-acre ranch, New Mexico, known as Zorro, was miles from civilization, featured a massive underground lair that an IT contractor compared to a dungeon outfitted with cameras. It had an airstrip, helicopter pad, and much more, including a baby production facility. You mentioned that, Sean, I think. He legally, through campaign donations, paid off the local sheriff and a wide range of New Mexico politicians and operated there with total impunity. That's how they do it. They just donate to your campaign, right?
Wow,
that's redacted.
So 10,000 acres, that's pretty big, That's pretty big.
Lots of privacy.
And you kind of see that similar outdoor theme of the circles or weird, like drawing. You can see it in the background there, that kind of sundial circular thing.
Yeah, like a labyrinth. That's what a labyrinth looks like. Actually, that's what it is. It's a labyrinth.
Well, and then you see that same on his island. So you've got that architecture, which is sort of relates to Egyptian and Syrian bathhouses, actually, like ancient bathhouses.
Syria. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's this some of the paintings. I mean, on the wall mosaic is this combination of Greek and Egyptian astrological symbols. So it's this combined um, thing. There's a whole bunch, other thing, but he also has a labyrinth on the island too. So there's a labyrinth there too.
Right.
You know,
Great. So yeah,
Poseidon,
there's
also
something
Poseidon.
there, and like the guy that the who's in what the Minotaur that's trapped in you got to feed him children.
Right.
Like that's the story. All the people would bring their kids to feed it to him.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I just sent you guys another one. It's EFTA 0124510 again. 0124510. Can one of you guys read that? Pull that up and read it,
Yeah, I'll get that.
please.
Here we go. All right. So Federal Bureau of Investigation 7/13/2020, case ID number blah, Jeffrey Epstein, child sex trafficking, drafted by blank. Enclosure, date, time received, already, whatever. Enclosed are the following items. 1, graphic capture of viral video.
Which nobody's seen. Nobody's seen that video, sir.
Okay. Details. On 7/12/2020 at 3:12:08 p.m. Eastern Time, Dale Martin, date of birth, redacted, cell phone blank, called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to report a viral video of what appears to be Jeffrey Epstein torturing a young woman with a magnifying glass. Martin provided the following information. Martin's daughter, Jessica McQueen, date of birth blank, sent Martin a piece of video of what appeared to be a young white female, aged 11 to 13 years old, with dark-colored hair, tied down and naked. The victim is tied to the ground and spread eagle with a man who appears to be Jeffrey Epstein, holding a magnifying glass with a claw and burning the victim. Martin described the video as being blurry. However, the male subject appeared to be a very large man with gray hair, wearing jeans, a short-sleeved black shirt, and white tennis shoes. Martin stated Facebook would not take the video down. I'm assuming it says town. In the frame of the video, it says Epstein. However, the video is blurry. Martin advised that McQueen did not feel comfortable reporting the information. However, her friends are reporting it. Next page, database queries. On an open source query of Epstein and magnifying glass video, resolved to a tweet by blank from 12/09/2019 of a picture of what appears to be an adult woman, naked, tied down, and gagged while lying on the grass. The woman also has multiple magnifying glasses on her body. The male subject in the video is wearing jeans, a red t-shirt, and white tennis shoes. In the comments, a Twitter user provides an Instagram page. The eye is on us, dated 20 hours ago, of the video of the woman being burned by the magnifying glasses. In the video, the woman is squirming while the man continues to burn her. The subject does not show his entire face, and it is unclear if the subject is Epstein. The video can be found at URL blank. That's that.
That one is 0124510 so you can just look that up if you're bored. I
At least we don't have to see the video. Oh, God. Squirming. Yeah.
This is actually really interesting. This is them planning the convid, as Sean says. This is convid planning from 2011. So watch what they're thinking here. Maybe if you'd like to read this, Hans, that'd be great.
Sure.
Are you able to read? Is that clear enough?
Let's see. Yes, I can.
Jess Staley was the head of J.P. Morgan. I think he was actually either criminally found guilty or paid off or something like that. So
just at the bottom, the comments are obscuring.
okay, let me
text.
get it out.
So, donor advised fund. One, you could tie it initially just to the Gates program, minimum gift. See, extra I there in minimum, but minimum gift, 100 million. It could be opened up later. It will be the largest foundation in the world. He definitely, without spell check, he's got some issues. But anyways, okay. You need an advisory board for 1, investments, 2, distributions, ... You will need an administration mirroring a mutual fund for tax compliance. I assume that's compliance, but tax compliance department dedicated to the operation. It will underpin a trust and estate department, the size of which will be enormous. 5, I would suggest an IRS auditor. There's something for time on site. 6, as DAF, you'll be able to take in funky assets, subs. Sorry, it's a little.
You want me to take over? It's
yeah,
okay.
I'll just finish.
Okay.
Subs, closely held Cs, art valuation service, sales and management of 144 stock. Done right, it's $100 billion in 2 years. The tension is making money from a charitable org. Therefore, the money-making part need to be arm's length. Salaries are disclosable and closely watched. Farming the investments to a high bridge is no-brainer, but must be done with airtight opinions and reviewed by committees. I thought of university heads, foundation chairs for the boards. It will be the most which I assume is sought after board in the country. So that's there you go. And some really bad spelling. I thought but there you go. And it sounds like we probably could find out what organization this is,
$100 billion in 2 years. Jesus.
I think that's the kind of money that was made during COVID. Like it was a huge wealth transference.
Yes,
much like the
true.
banking scam and all this other stuff.
You're right. Oh, the 08 one, the housing one, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, all of them. Even 9/11 was a huge wealth transference. If you know these things are coming.
Right.
There's another one. I got to find this, but there's like another one where they're just flat out plotting this stuff with Gates on the thread. Here's another one. Sorry, go ahead.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to.
Okay.
Like
I can wrap it up too. We'll end with this. Somebody asked in the thing, what's the use of going through all this dark stuff? I think it's like lancing a boil. I think it's like you're seeing what it's really like behind the scenes, behind the curtain, behind the mansion's walls, exteriors, like eyes wide shut, how these other people live and think about you. I think that's really what it is. It's dark, but like these people have had an effect. Think about this new phenotype they're trying to roll out on humanity. And it's part of this whole agenda. It's a broad blueprint, and these people think about it. So I think that's really valuable. Like the world isn't a shiny, happy freaking place, Wonderland. It's not Disneyland. There's really predatory Morgoths or whatever they're called. Morlocks. Thank you. I keep stating that. I'm sorry.
These are people setting policy, right? Government policy, public policy, educational policy, imposing upon us, whether it's lockdowns or whether it's DEI, transgender surgery, whether it's
genocide.
I mean, and these are the people that are doing it. So in case you think that they have some altruistic motivation, you get a better sense of who these people are.
Right. Bill Gates was on TV, like everybody was inviting him during the COVID thing, and he had a new sweater every time, and he's like, well, once everybody in the world gets vaccinated, and they ask him about Jeffrey Epstein, and he says on camera, well, he's dead, so you got to be careful.
Right? It's a warning, right? Doesn't he warn?
Yes.
But it's also he's making money while he's promoting the vaccines. He's invested everything and shifted the Gates Foundation and his personal assets. I think he increased his net wealth worth by double or something really crazy.
Right.
So it was just, I mean,
mean,
that's the whole thing is they're monetizing misery for the rest of us. That's another thing
Right.
you should learn. Like it's not, this is really dark. It's even darker than you imagine. So you think of all the people they depopulated, they made money off at the same time. So,
And like we only see half supposedly of what they could release. They only released half of it. And sure, this one guy, Epstein, is gone, but he was just a cog in the wheel of an entire like machine of death, you know. And he was there, like he was rewarded with all those young girls and being allowed to do that, but that's just, you know, that's just his payment. What he was really working on was like for their main goal. It's not, I mean, he's just aligning along with their with the will of the higher ups, and he does a good job, so they move him up the ladder, you know. And with this being exposed, this is only a little fraction of the real what is really running this world. So when we look under the rock and see the dirty bugs and all the nasty black pill stuff, uh, we have to look, because then when we see this one rock has all this stuff underneath it, when we look around at all the other rocks we're supposedly standing on for our firm foundation of society, oh, maybe the same is under all of them. Maybe this is really how it is the whole way. Like it's like you know, slavery and sexual abuse and trauma all the way down, just like the turtles. You know what I mean?
amen. Anything you'd like to wrap up with, Hans, before we wrap it up?
No, yeah, I understand it. It is dark. Unfortunately, it's it's real. It doesn't mean you need to focus on it all the time, but we need to clear it. But also by clearing it, you remove the protective veil, because they hide beneath this veil of secrecy. And this veil of we know better, we're the experts. This is what it. So remove the veil of secrecy. Throw light on this and remove these people from their self-chosen role as arbitrators of the face of humanity. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, at least people, like, they all know not to think that, well, hopefully they will learn that voting doesn't really help, because both of them are in the same skull and bones, or like, they're all funded by the same people, and they're all working towards the same goal of enslaving and killing us. Even Trump just said that the warp speed was the greatest military operation. And what does the military do? They kill people. Okay. So it was the greatest one of those that ever came around. It was huge. It was huge, and good, with all of his boisterous talk, but still he won't let that drop. He won't let it go, even though everybody knows it was killing people. He's still saying it's such a great achievement. Just like Charlie the Third there over there with his blood red painting. It's like he's proud of the death that they are accomplishing. It just goes to show, like, the true mentality of all these people. When we look under that rock and see it, now we can really cognite, we can fully understand.
They repeat goyim in this stuff all the time. So we're all cattle. These are just the Jewish side of this.
Right.
Gates is in here. The rumor is, I'll end with this. Somebody intrepid kind of researcher looked at this. This was the email, I am in China, I will be in the US the second week of May. That's April 25th, 2009. Somebody found out that Benjamin Netanyahu was in China and then ended up in the US on the second week of May 2009. So
I love the torture video. I mean,
Who doesn't love a good torture
that's
video?
from Jeff. So Jeff got it from allegedly Netanyahu. Not saying that's the case, but there is this weird overlap. There's some really great researchers out there, guys. There's some really ones that I've never heard of, are like noided out and just full autistic energy drink mode, just wiring out and putting out great stuff. So I'll try to put some links to them for next time. But 400 live listeners. Thanks everybody for listening.
Wow.
you want to
great.
stick around, Sean, and go through the comments? I'll
Oh,
let you
yeah,
go,
I'll do
Hans,
some
if you want to
comments.
bail or what. How you
Okay,
doing?
yeah, I have to. If I don't
Okay.
bail, you'll be hearing a lot of background
I don't
noise.
want to hear
You see that, the rolling pin.
Yeah.
Right, you
Yeah.
get to-
I see some shadows in the background. You better watch out.
Yeah, be afraid.
All right. Well, hey,
All right,
thanks for
peace.
having me on. Thank you
Peace,
so
We
man.
much.
love you,
Anytime,
man.
Okay,
Talk to
anytime.
you later.
Peace, peace, peace.
Everybody should check out the Resonant State
Yeah, Resonant
podcast.
State. Yes.
All right.
Let's see where we're at here. Let's go. Close. Hoffman said, yeah, I think that's Michael Hoffman said Zorro Ranch is the same latitude as Dealey. I didn't know that.
Huh. That's the 33rd, right? That's the 33rd parallel.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
right. John, Blues Traveler. Zorro Ranch in the middle of New Mexico State proper in the middle of nowhere. It really is. It's kind of south of Albuquerque. No, it's south of, I think it's south. It's east of Albuquerque, south of Santa Fe. Beautiful area. Really nice. I really drove through there last year.
I drove through the southern part and it was all white. Everything was white, bleached by the sun. It was like being on another planet. It was really beautiful and awesome.
Esquilla saw that video years ago. Some said it was an art project and nothing to do with JE. I wouldn't know. I mean,
The
somebody can
one with the
validate this.
magnifying glass?
I think so.
Whoa.
Is that what you're saying, Esquilla?
An art project. What the fuck?
I don't know,
Man,
guys.
That's crazy. How can, like, oh, it's an art project. It's fine. Just like Marina Abramovich does the dark ritual and she's like, it's an art project. It's all good. It's not really a dark ritual as long as the intent is to be an art display.
Good point.
Yeah.
And I actually posted about Abramovich. She was at these parties with Epstein, but all of the elite of Silicon Valley were there in 2014, 2015. They never disclosed it. Gates had STD. Yeah, I actually just heard his wife on a TV show or a podcast saying.
Did she talk about that?
Yeah,
comment?
she was like, "Oh my God, I had no idea. That's why we got divorced."
Oh man.
So he got an STD. He's trying to secretly dose his wife with penicillin.
Dude, you got to do that for days and days too. You can't just do one dose. Like, that's funny.
South Tower Tawa says, "Why are these elites dumb enough to put all this in writing?" I don't think they ever thought this would see the light of day.
Just like the other one that we were looking at, the Manchurian Candidate stuff. They were so blatant and truthful. It's amazing to read.
It really is, right, in that document, that Esterbrook's document.
Right.
Tara says, "I've known all the stuff was true, but they don't have to prove it to me anymore. But apparently people still need proof.
Yeah.
So until all of them believe this is real," right? Good point. Really
That's
well
right.
said. I mean, I'm a journalist. Like, that's what I do. So is Sean. So
Right.
some of the stuff, if it's too much, turn it off, man. Anything. I would recommend it for any of my shows. If it's too disturbing or anything, go outside and touch grass. Honestly.
Yeah.
I try to do it as much as possible. Blues Johnson, we need to know how bad it is. All they are so evil. These are evil people. I haven't even gotten into, like, there's pictures of, I can't even post some of these pictures of Epstein. I thought I could get prosecuted for CP. I'm not kidding. There's like a picture of him with a prepubescent girl, like this. Yeah, really bad. Like, I don't even want to go into it, but it's like unbelievable. All these people lied. Shapiro lied. They're all lying about how dark it is.
Yeah.
High View, thanks for another good show, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. Unicorns are dead. Yeah, Walter Cronkite. There's a picture of him with Epstein, unredacted. So that's really true.
Wasn't he the guy that did the voice at Bohemian Grove?
Yes.
Okay.
And also drilled into the public's mind of Oswald with the shooter and the 3 bullets.
Right. Yeah, in the back and to the left or whatever.
Yeah, all that stuff. Him and these other guys were all doing that stuff. He was like the most trusted man in news. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Yeah.
High View, they remind me of the demons in Twin Peaks that feed off pain and misery.
Right.
Garma, I don't even know that word. Garmonbozia. Do you know that word?
No, but I remember Twin Peaks and the like, that's just like what Jerry Marzinsky talks about, like the way they feed off of our energy.
Demons, yeah.
Yeah, the demons. And they give a voice in our head that we think it's our own thought, but they tell us something that we would never think, it's bad.
Yeah. Never again vote for evil. Agreed. We all just goy dogs to the supremacist cult. These guys were bad. Like I think it was Maria Farmer who said that they were. She was one of the early ones out of Hawaii. I'm sorry, Ohio, and she said they were racist as hell. They were like Jewish racists and hated everybody else. So it's kind of funny. Whenever they complain, whenever I see Jewish people like whining about racism or anti-Semitism, I know that behind this is like a projection of their racism behind doors. You know, it's like that's what I think. I actually, well, I won't go there, but I a lot of it's projection, guys. That's why they do it so much. Do you know he visited in Ireland? No, I don't know that. None of this is new given the history of humanity. You're right, cup of coffee.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Really good. Good night, gents. Good night, everybody. It's we made it 2.5 hours. We're at 4:15. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we should try to do a marathon sometime. Do like a 5 hour. I'll get a bunch of energy drinks and like
Yeah, that'd be good.
fist energy drink. Garmon Bosie is a term from David Lynch. I don't know that. I've never heard that word, guys.
Well, it sounds like ambrosia mixed with Garmin, whatever that. But ambrosia is the food of the gods, right? So, yeah, time flies. Yeah, dude, it's great. We've been doing some really long with. I just edited. I recorded yesterday with Brett and Stephen DeLay, Brett Carollo, and we went. I was like, I looked at it when I was editing. It's 3.7 hours. I was like, oh my god, it was great though. You guys will love it once I post it.
Tell me the topic again.
We're talking about the guy Peter Green. The murder.
Oh, that's right. Green. That's right. Yeah.
And
what were those files called? It was an Italian guy's name.
Albertini.
Right?
Albertini tapes, and he was a whistleblower. I can send you the link of the tape directly. He calls a CPS guy, and he records it, and they talk all about the Odyssey and like sex trafficking at the Odyssey and. He was friends with the Arquettes, and he knows all these like Hollywood people that grew up in that.
That's like a Hollywood family for sure, too.
Yeah, totally. Right. And all of this, like we go deep into the connections of who and what actors and why.
One of the Arquettes ran like a really Tony high-end club too, right on the border of Beverly Hills and Sunset Strip. Like I can kind of like the Viper Room type of thing.
Right. Yeah. We talked about the Viper Room. That Peter Green used to be junked out on the front steps, or he would like hang out on the sidewalk and like get junk and stuff out there. But yeah, it's a really interesting show. But I'm just surprised how long it went. 3.7. Good Lord. But we did fun. It was great. It's been a long time since I talked to Brett and Steven anyway. So it's good to talk.
You've been on some other shows. Are you willing to divulge some of the other shows you've been on? I don't know.
What are you talking about? Who was that?
I don't want to break the news. I don't want to spoil the thing.
Of like what
you've been on other shows, so keep an eye out on Sean's podcast.
Okay.
I'll put it in the private chat.
Right on. Oh, right. Yeah, that's
well, if you don't want to mention it, don't.
That's supposed to Sam emailed me and he's like, yeah, we're putting it up tomorrow. So good. It's gonna it's recorded. I was a guest on Tinfoil Hat and we talked about Eyes Wide Shut and we weren't talking about Epstein and stuff, but we had
timing's incredible, dude. Yeah. Didn't you do that last week or Thursday or something?
Yeah, recorded on Wednesday.
It's just full sync, bro.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, so it was great to talk to them, and I barely scratched the surface of the stuff. So they invited me back. Hopefully, I'll have another one.
How long did you chat with them? 2-3 hours?
No, I wish an hour and 45.
That's good. That's usual. That's standard.
Right. That's how they go. But it was good to connect with them and talk with them because I've been listening for years, and so.
They I think their style is they do 90 minutes and then they recap for half an hour and they do
right. Yeah. Hopefully they recap good things. Hopefully they liked it. I'm interested to hear what they had to say. So that's good. It was a good time.
Says excellent. Hi, Al Nick. Hey, everybody. Gene Hackman lived close to Walking Dead. Anybody know that? I knew he was in New Mexico. I don't know.
Right. I think that's true. Yeah.
They had Sean stuff on understanding creativity. I don't know that.
Understanding creativity.
John,
They took what I had produced and like talked about it. They were like
yeah,
commenting.
can you
on what-
comment on that too, Blues?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Javier, cheers and congrats, Sean. So cheers and congrats.
Awesome. Yeah, great. That's great. Yeah, I would love for people to take my stuff and use it and have, make clips of it and, talk about it, and that would be great. I mean, uh I created it and it's from me and it's mine, but it's like it's a gift to the world and they can do with it what they want. You know what I mean? So like it's on the internet. Anybody can download the thing. So I hope they all talk about it and that's great.
At Wake the Dead, guys. Go to Wake the Dead. You can check out all of this stuff. His new recording. I don't know much about the Albertini. I remember reading, I remember you guys did a show
It
a
was
couple years ago, didn't you?
Yeah, 104, and it was probably a couple years ago. It seems like that long ago. Uh, and this one is going to be 201 of my line of podcast. Oh yeah, that the first time I was ever on a show was Freeman Fly invited me. And we talked about living in a van and being homeless and going to Rainbow Gathering. And then the next show I was a guest with Mark Devlin and we talked about the radio and like mind control and like the government. It was pretty good. That's how I started. And I talked to William, I emailed
No,
all you
it's
guys.
been a while, like 3
Yeah.
years, 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe time is flown. It was over COVID, really, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. Well, we
Condit,
talked before
excuse me.
that, but that's when we really started cooking with gas is around that time. That was, the black pill days and good times. But yeah, man, I'm glad that people are psyched for my stuff. I'm just blessed to have listeners. I'm so glad,
You guys make all that happen, all the listeners. So I'm thankful for
That's
all
right.
the listeners too. So I really appreciate all the stuff, and the comments are really dynamite. I mean, they're so
Yeah.
great. They add to when Sean and I are just talking or something is great, but like the other kind of details, it really helps too, especially if you
Right.
can't remember names or something. Tara, you should reach out to Freeman Fly. I'm sure he'd be happy.
Yes, you should. And he's like, he's got cats and he's loving life, and he needs some good attention. He needs to get his show back on the air. I think that
I need to reach out to Don't Let Them Burn. I need to go back and circle back to all my early people. I've just kind of been on it's either like a hamster wheel or something. Like last 2025 was something else for me. So I just feel like I've been running on steam or vapors or whatever you call it. So I have to reach out to him. Chris Taylor, God bless him. I love his show. You guys check it out. His YouTube show's outstanding. He's actually not in addition to being a great podcaster, he's really one of the best artists and graphic designers out there. I love his graphic designs. If I had money and could afford it, I would hire him in a nanosecond to redo all my crappy book covers that I did myself. If it looks like a middle-aged goofball with no graphic skills did my book covers, it's because I did them all myself. Highview, yeah, thanks Highview for following Patreon. I do post a lot on Patreon. Pretty responsive on Patreon too, so people can check that. I do post stuff there that I don't post. I did a members only show there for a couple hours and used a lot of bad words that I wouldn't use in other environments. Code and word for kids in their emails is snacks. Interesting. They also use I saw one called cream cheese and grape soda. So they're using code words in the new Epstein files like Pizzagate. They use pizza too. If you want to have a bad day, go back to justice.gov Epstein and type in pizza and they're definitely trading in pizza, guys. There's no question about it. Opperman report. Yeah, I haven't talked to Ed since I got pissed at him in 2021. But I like that people wanted me to talk shit about Ed or crap about Ed, but there's nothing really to say. They say he had a bad temper, but man, he put up with a lot of real knuckleheads. There was one, I don't even want to say the name, but do I need a microphone to how are we going to do this record? They were so clueless. It was like they thought that we were going to get 2 freaking tomato cans in a string or something. I don't know. Like that's where we're at. Like I want to have a conversation with you, and you're like, "Well, I need a microphone. How does what's the internet?" Like it's almost.
Can
like,
I just think the answers
Yeah,
of your
I don't know.
questions, and
Oh.
will you read my mind, please?
bro, it's not a joke.
That's great.
Pizza
though,
for
Ed.
sure, hot dogs. Yeah, I mean, that's how I got a lot of the research in the most recent things. Is I put really naughty words in there. That was kind of one of my search terms. Is like porn words and things like that. And a lot of stuff came up. You know, a lot of I have a whole stack of stuff I didn't even get to, guys. Like I could do this. Grassy Knoll days. Yeah, I did my first show over 15 years ago. It was 2010. That was when I published my first book. So I was on one of the first shows I did that's still extant is the Grassy Knolls stuff. Like a lot of them are gone because they were smaller shows that disappeared, like Randy Rob Moggins. Well, I don't even know if he's around anymore. But
I remember that dude. He went to Free Your Mind 4. I remember. Yeah.
Nice guy. But he check out Opera Report. He does a lot of good stuff. He still plays my old shows, so I have to take that as a.
He sticks up for you. He's I think that there's no animosity. I mean, at least from what I can.
I don't
tell,
have any. I was the one who
yeah.
got pissed at him. People think he got pissed at me. I'm against riots, like these burn down riots and stuff like that. He always said I was a Trump lover. Like, I'm not a Trump lover at all anymore. I'm anti-Trump.
People shouldn't make assumptions about.
Yeah, well, I don't. It's that mindset of like, if you're not this, you're the other.
Right.
Like I can't. There's no middle ground or.
It's like a defensive mechanism for his own mind. Like you must be like that because that's how I can. Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy to gestalt it that way instead of having a nuanced. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Silver. So Pizzagate has been reconfirmed. You're right. There's absolutely no doubt. I didn't know you were pissed at each other. No, I really. I wish Ed the best. I really don't have any animosity. So to say that I have any it's like somebody drama creation or like that. But he always kept telling me I was a Trump lover over after he says that like 20 or 30 times. I'm like exasperated. Like, what are you talking about? He's definitely a socialist. There's absolutely he's part of the Yippies, guys. He goes way back. Right. He's totally connected. I'm an independent. I've voted independent since I figured out the Bushes were Satanists probably after 9/11. So that's really my history. I was a Republican because I thought that I got to wrap it up soon. I thought that I was so dumb. I just thought that they were like holding up for American values like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I don't even want to admit that. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah. Now
we've come to the point where
they're drinking blood.
Right. So look how far you've come. That's great.
Yeah, picking isn't a team sport. So trophy. Sean, Wake the Dead. Check it out, guys. I will put this up. It'll stay there. Sean, I will send you the video right after.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here today with the comments. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. It's nice to talk with everybody. So over 400 live listeners. So really appreciate everybody. And thanks a lot, everybody. Stay there, Sean. Stay there.